Oh, you already did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. I thought you.
We back. Maybe again. Oh, you see.
Never mind.
All right, let's see. Maybe. They give you like 3 visibility restrictions.
I know, so that's why I was saying that too. Like, we're gonna always talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Evolution is the biggest lie ever told. No over talking. That's the title of the live. Let's not leave out the no over talking because that's a part of it. All right,
Talk, baby.
evolution, the biggest lie ever told. No over talking is a part of that whole title. Okay, so the reason why evolution is the biggest lie ever told is because the so-called black woman doesn't create these other beings, right? So again, I said this in the other live too, that the whole Eve gene thing is still another theory suggested under evolution that is not true. A neuromelanated woman doesn't create a vitrosynthetic EU melanated or pheomelanated woman or man. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about skin color, see, that's how they trick the world. It's like, oh, let's just make it about skin. Let's just make it about race. But the thing is like, you're not the skin color, you're your genetics. And your genetics is what makes the skin. So it's like when people talk about darker, well, I know Dravidians that are darker than me, right? But they still can't take the sun, right? I know so-called Mexicans that are darker than me, right? But we can clearly look throughout our entire integumentary system. Our hair, our skin, our nails, it's a different texture. One of us can stand in the sun 8 to 12 hours, no water, all day long, taking the full spectrum of radiation, and the other one can't. That's a genetic difference, right? So people keep saying, that's a little racist. Is it? Because I'm talking about the genetic differences, right? We talking about the genetic differences, y'all. So it's like, I'll never forget when, when I was coming into this knowledge. Now I have more of a base level of understanding. When I was first coming into this, they were like, that sounds a little racist. Well, if we put structure behind it and we put science and genetics and biology behind it, if we actually break down the evolution theory, right? When we actually look at a haploid and a diploid cell, prokaryotes, how they reproduce, when we look at the eukaryotic cell, we're not the same species at the end of the day, right? All life on this planet comes from one or two origins, and we're running it back until somebody can debunk us. The problem is you can't debunk nature. So this is the reason why we're 3 years. Really, we can honestly say 3.5 because baby was going live before me. We can really say pushing 4 years. You see what I'm saying? No, and when we haven't been debunked. Back then, when these types of topics was new to TikTok and pages weren't being blocked, this was before you could download the lives, before all the restrictions and stuff was placed on the lives and shit like that. Yeah, there was kinesiologists, evolutionary biologists, different doctors coming in here, and that's what actually helped us gain more knowledge itself, actually. Arguing with TikTok gave us more information about our own genetics because we kept researching. We kept, structuring what we already knew, kept expounding. So that's the thing, y'all. Who is this that want to come up?
We got 2 new guests, Dom and A. All right, go ahead, Dom, and go ahead and tell us your thoughts and visions on the evolution being the biggest lie ever told.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I believe that evolution is a lie. I believe that mainly like white people, they were genetically engineered, and that's why they have fur, and they don't have melanin. They have phelomelanin. They smell like dogs, and they behave like beasts because that's what their bases are. And I believe that they were spliced between us and the primate. And I believe that we are the ones who did it.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what I believe.
go ahead and tell me how you splice a cell coated in light for how, because you're saying that they splice neuromelanated people. So how do they splice us when you can't splice into ourselves? So can you go ahead and tell us that process on how that happened? Yeah, I mean, he can't. You're not gonna be able to answer. That's the point.
You're saying
Yo,
that a black person was spliced, and that's how these other people came about. He's asking you how.
I mean, I saw a lot of videos. I cannot give you like the scientific terms, of course. Yeah, you're right about that. But I saw a lot of videos where they were actually scientists, like white scientists, talking about ancient races, and those ancient races were black people, and they were super advanced, and they actually spliced the DNA with laser and stuff like that, and created the white man
But they
mixed
used
with
art.
primates.
You're talking about cells, but you said that so-called black people, that we were involved and we're the ones who did it. Now you're saying that YT scientists were the ones doing it, and then they splice with light, and then they use the primate. So even the
I
information
didn't
that
say that. I said
you
that
did,
I saw
you said
videos
that it was
about
light
like white
primate.
people talking about.
You said they use us. You said they use black people and they use the primate. So how do you
I
splice
didn't say
black
that.
people's cells? Yes. Who do they use
Just tell us how you splice, period. That's
exactly?
just what we're asking.
Like
How
what
do
the
you
hell?
Do you
splice a
want me to
cell
tell you
code?
how what I said? Or
How do you splice a cell coated in light? Like you said, they use light to cut. So how do you cut a cell that's coated in light with light? How do you cut light with light? That's what we're asking.
yeah, so what I said actually was white people, the scientists that I was watching the video was talking about the ancient black races that were super advanced. I didn't say that white people spliced because they didn't exist. So how they would splice themselves? That doesn't make sense.
Can you tell me how they splice, period, whether they were white or black? How do you
I
splice
don't
a
know.
cell coated in neuromelanin?
I told you beforehand. I'm not a scientist. I don't remember, but I'm just telling you what I believe.
Yeah, you don't have to be
Isn't
a
that about
scientist to
what this life
understand
is about?
what. No, it's about people that have a base understanding of evolution.
Exactly. You're telling us what you believe, which has the word lie in it. You see what I'm saying? Your brain is malleable and susceptible to lies. That's what you just told us. Because this isn't knowledge like that you can't buy a book on and go learn. There's genetic books, biology books, um, different anatomy and physiology books. And in school they told us about prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So you can't splice a prokaryotic cell that's coated in light because no, the DNA of black people, of so-called black people around the planet is condensed sunlight. So in labs, they use UV light to cut and splice into eukaryotic cells, which are malleable and susceptible to being cut. They're not coated in light. You see what I'm saying? They have a different cell membrane. So if you're gonna say that so-called black people use black people and a primate to create these species, how did they do that? Considering the fact that they don't even only have 98% of their DNA from chimpanzees, they have 60% of their DNA from chickens, 80% of their DNA from cows, 60% of their DNA from fruit flies, and all of these percentages varies within them. So go ahead and explain that to us.
You got it, big bro. You got it.
All right, I got you. All right. So, it's Surly. Go ahead and tell us your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
Hey, I mean, I don't think, like I think, what they say is that we do have a common ancestor. I don't think they say that, like one day, like a chimpanzee, gave birth to somewhat of a looking something that looks like a human, and then that human went in. I don't think that's what they're saying. I don't think they're saying that, and I don't think that's what you're saying, right?
Tell us what you believe based off of what's on the screen, so that way we can get your take and know what your take is.
Yeah. So like I totally can see, um, that, okay, so it's proven that we do have 98%, similar, what is it, DNA with chimpanzees and so on. So, but however, we do have a common ancestor from a long time ago, and I think that I guess evolution or mutation from that into what we see today as Homo sapiens. I mean, there were many different types of humanoid beings. I mean, like, so it's a very complicated concept if you start to dig a lot deep. But I don't believe that, monkey gave birth to a human one day and then that's what they're saying. I don't think that's what scientists are saying either.
We never
Yeah,
said that.
nobody in here is saying that a chimpanzee gave birth to a white man, to an Asian man. We've been saying that genetic splicing has been taking place on this planet for over 400,000 years. And they're not the ones who's been genetically splicing. Whites, Asians, and Arabs are genetically spliced. Y'all are genetically spliced organisms. You have multiple genetic material and genetic structure, vitrosynthetic EU and pheomelanin and neuromelanin from other unnatural organisms to create
Oh,
you as an organism. Yes, you
oh,
have.
I mean, like, what do you mean by unnatural?
Okay, hold
Hold on
on
for
for
a
a second
second.
because we didn't cut you
Okay.
off once. So let him respond to you fully,
Oh,
please.
I'm
No over
sorry. I'm
talk. No, no,
sorry.
that's cool. But no over talking is also a part of the title. Evolution is the biggest lie ever told. No over talking, right? Let us
Yeah.
respond.
And I was literally getting to the question that you were asking me. Synthetic biology deals with in vitro synthetic melanin. You see what I'm saying? This in vitro means lab created melanin. Y'all have lab created melanins. So how is it that you're 7,000 years old, but so-called the humans just made labs today? That's because we see on the Sumerian tablets, which is dates back to the earliest point of your existence. We see you on stones, on hieroglyphics with reptilians splicing your DNA, with reptilians having y'all on leashes on all fours with tails, with hypertrichosis, which is werewolf syndrome. We see you with cutaneous horns. And then we also see you not being able to absorb terrestrial and solar radiation. So how did this being
Nigger,
evolve?
nigger, 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 nigger,
Yeah,
nigger,
we got
nigger,
you.
nigger, 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 nigger.
Yes, we got you. But go ahead and answer me how cows, a pig, a dog, and a fruit fly procreate to make you. You see what I'm saying? Only that type of brain will have that time to say those type of things. So going
No,
back
I
to what
didn't
I was
say.
saying,
I didn't.
no.
So,
I
I
know you
mean,
didn't
oh, I'm
say it,
sorry. I'm
but
sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah, I know you didn't say it, but your counterpart did. So I was addressing your counterpart. But yeah, what I was saying is that y'all are the ones who have animal DNA. So-called black people, we don't have animal DNA, and the sun is what mutates and changes genes. So we've never seen a black woman give birth to a white man, to a white woman, to an Asian man, to an Asian woman, to an Arab man, to an Arab woman. We've never seen a so-called black woman do that. So how is it that y'all saying that y'all come from us, but we have two different genetic structures? Because our genetic structure
But
is hydrogen, helium, oxygen, nitrogen, and
Carbon.
carbon. This is the genetic structure of our DNA, which is the same genetic structure that all stars have, which makes up their DNA and their physiology.
I mean, okay, and I appreciate what you're saying as a black woman. Thank you very much. And then but I just want to. But however, like, like let's say, for example, a Chinese woman, is not gonna give birth to a white baby either. The baby's gonna mostly resemble the Asian person,
Exactly,
right? You know what I
because
mean?
okay, because the Asian man and the white man are two different species as well. Even the Asian women and the Asian man are two different species as well because they have incomplete dominance genetics. They have allele genetics, recessive genetics. of multiple different animals, and these animals' DNA that they have within them, the percentages vary within vessel to vessel. So when an Asian man and a Asian woman procreate with each other, they are creating a new hybrid species. That is a completely new species. They didn't absorb the genetic information of the parents. They absorbed the off Hox genes of the parents.
But let's say, for example, like if a Chinese person, like has, mated with a white American man, I mean, they're gonna give birth to a Chinese person.
It depends on the mother because that's the carrier of the so-called ovum or the totipotent stem cell. So
Wouldn't
if
that
you're
be the same thing for the black woman too? Depends on the.
I just that
Let her get to it before you ask another question, because
I really do.
we're grown people trying to have a civil conversation. We don't need to keep over talking each other. We can use our prefrontal cortex and plan out what we're going to say. Okay.
So ovum, which is related to animal DNA, egg cell, right? Versus the totipotent stem cell, which is what neuromelanated women have. We have an abundant amount of totipotent stem cells, which is separate than the ovum itself, right? So we undergo a different process, right, when it comes to the zinc spark and how that information is actually accepted amongst the cell. And then when it comes to the phenomenon of parthenogenesis with the polar body and the totipotent cell / ovum, right? It depends on the embryological origin, which is what these two origins are, right? So you have a single cell that turns into another, that splits itself through binary fission. This is what happens in procreation when we're creating children in the womb, right? One single cell splits itself through binary fission, and then it creates the organism itself. So we have to take it back to the original origin, which is either going to be the animal cell or the totipotent cell. So if the mother is so-called black, the totipotent stem cell carrier, right? If a YT man sparks the pattern of this totipotent stem cell, that is a so-called prokaryotic hybrid because its origin is the mother. That's how DNA is passed down and how traits are inherited. So if the woman is YT or Asian or so-called Mexican, that is an egg cell, ovum, right? That is the origin. So if a so-called black man comes along and there's a zinc spark, he sparks the pattern of an Asian woman, that is a eukaryotic hybrid, right? Because of the origin of all the cells that created this organism. Does that make sense?
I have to honestly say I don't understand. But if are you guys trying to like sit in there for that people which we would call black people or like out of worldly, maybe like supernatural. Not supernatural, but aliens from
Anything
to
that's
the
not a
earth.
single-celled organism.
So again, when it comes to all of it, so are you familiar with embryogenesis or embryology?
I know what embryos are, but I'm not.
All right, so you know what embryos are, right? Meaning that these are clumps of cells that have created the so-called embryo that begins to further develop and expand into fetal development, right?
Yeah, so I mean, like, so what is you guys' theory? Is what I'm.
Not a theory. I'm asking you a question.
I'm not
and
saying that it's
I'm
wrong.
good
The sperm and the egg each carry 23 chromosomes. When they combine, that's when you start having cellular reproduction. This is when cells start splitting and dividing and growing into an embryo. It's pretty simple, actually. We know very well how this works.
Right. Okay. So then let's have a discussion. I asked her a simple question. Is she familiar with embryogenesis or embryology? Because she said she didn't. It didn't make sense to her. So now there's someone else getting in the conversation saying it's not that hard.
Guys, I mean, why does it matter if someone else is part of the conversation? I mean, your answer shouldn't be in.
Nigga, y'all came up to the panel, dog. What's up? You're saying, why does it matter? You requested up here. We didn't send you an invite.
Like, can y'all just genetically and biologically explain to us how we're all humans? You're saying we all have the same common ancestor. How did that common ancestor go from a haploid to a diploid?
That's it. You're saying it's simple. Explain it to us.
You're trying to tell us about like procreation, but we're telling you that we have a whole different genetic structure to our cells. So when we procreate with each other, there's zoonotic diseases that's being transferred to us called antigens that's affecting our red blood cells, that's thinning out our red blood cells. So we're not the same species. Over 509 million of our women were falling unalive under the world, all over the world, when we came into contact with your seminal fluids, with your reproductive fluids. So I don't understand that. Y'all want to just keep talking and asking questions. Just answer the first question that we ask y'all. Like, don't come up here asking, oh, what do you know? What do you know about the evolution theory? And if we're saying it's a lie, tell us how's the truth. As simple as that.
Go ahead, Nod. Oh, they left. Okay.
Okay, good.
Who are we speaking with? You or the counterpart in the background?
The counterpart.
Okay. What's up, counterpart? Who are you? Are you so-called black, white tea?
I'm not a color, so I don't associate with the color. That's fucking barbaric.
Active
I have a
listening.
question.
Can
Why
I
don't monkeys turn on?
no over talking? Y'all
There
are
are
grown
monkeys with
men. Get them
multiple
out of
skin
here.
colors.
Get the fuck out of here. The fuck is
Why they
wrong with
don't?
y'all? Get
Why
out
they
of here.
don't?
Get him out of here, man. Like, what's up? Leave the
So
panel.
stupid, sir.
Okay.
So again, I said so-called black or white tea. Oh, I'm not a color. Look at you, active listening, huh? Emotional. Sounds like you're not a neuromelanated man or woman. So the genetics, all of that genetic material want to like speak through one nucleus and it's crashing out. We see the gene expression. You could have answered the question simply. If you don't identify it, why you think we said so-called? Because this discussion is about genetics. It's not about race. Why you think we saying so-called?
Exactly. You're gonna say you're not a color. Well, you're a eukaryotic cell, and you're a multicellular organism, which means you have multiple cells from different organisms within your body to function your body. See what I'm saying? You have Hox genes, which means crippled, hamstrung genes.
Crash outs.
You see what I'm saying? We just want to know, what is your biological identification to the planet? Can you explain why you should be existing on this planet? Because the concrete, the asphalt, the hotels, the clubs, bars, parties, all of these different buildings for businesses, all of that is not a part of nature. That's all synthetic creation for y'all to have a place to live on this planet. You don't have a natural place on this planet for you to live on. The planet doesn't accept eukaryotes for her to live on. This is why places that where y'all at, y'all receiving multiple solar
What's
radiation.
up?
If y'all come in here and over talk, we're immediately getting you out of here. He's talking. Have some respect or get out. You can come up here and wait till he's done. We see you up here. We added you up here. You don't have to talk, bro. Like, what? We're like, come on, y'all.
Yep.
And we can hear a lack of magnetism in the voice. So look.
And that sister, what she was saying, oh, I don't even know if she was sister. She was saying, oh, I'm a so-called black woman, but the man in the back didn't sound so-called black. So
Zoonotic diseases, ischemia.
that's all I'm saying.
Two different species, right? Two different species. Prior to us coming in contact with these people, first of all, when we first came in contact with these people, zoonotic diseases. We were being wiped out 2 continents alone because the DNA was incompatible. The fuck? The Rogam shot had to be created because if it wasn't, these different fetuses, the children being born, the children inside of the womb were getting unalive because the mother was looking at the fetus as a foreign entity and attacking it.
Yep.
So it's not about love who you love. It's about what's happening on a biological level between us. Again, when we stand in the sun, why do you undergo acute body radiation and why do I undergo black body radiation?
Boom. Explain that to us.
That's why we're saying so-called black and white tea. Fuck the titles. Let's talk about our cells and what we're composed of, the biology, our embryological origin, which is what makes us who we are. You're laying next to a conglomeration of animals, unnatural ones at that, plants, animals, and insects. And I'm not saying it, his scientists are.
Yep. So all we're saying that if you disagree with what we're saying, if you disagree and you think that we're all one human race, just come up and explain it to us. There's no need for you to involve your feelings and emotional triggers and showing us how you don't have emotional instability instead of like that doesn't make sense. Let's just have a normal conversation about your DNA.
Jonathan, he's loaded in on my end, but Jonathan, can you hear us?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and tell us your thoughts and visions.
Like, it's probably your phone. Jonathan, I'm a request.
I don't know what's going on.
Those three, whoever was just in the panel or request back up, because TikTok wasn't allowing us to. It was buffering.
Yeah, all the people who's 10 fingers down on the comments trying to disagree, just we have a whole panel where you could use your throat chakra. We have a whole panel where you can express the truth. If what you're saying is so truthful, you wouldn't spend your time typing it in the comments. You wouldn't send electrical signals to your thumb and type it in the comments. Come on now, that's not how you change reality. You're not really trying to express the truth then.
Does genetics adapt and develop naturally because of our environment, or is it our ancestral lineage? So you are who you are because of your genetics. Your 40 to 60% of your IQ comes directly from your mother, which is received through the cerebral cortex.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it is an influence from the environment, which is the reason why they work so hard to poison the environment. The Masonic Creed, written by the Rothschilds, or John D. Rockefeller, my bad. He literally extensively explains how every corner that we turn will be poisoned. Everything that we engage in will be poisoned. And these are your so-called elites. These are the ones that are sitting back behind closed doors playing chess. Right? So this is the reason why the environment is the way that it is. And then it influences your DNA, which influences epigenetics, which influences what we eat, the choices we make, the decisions, how we interact and perceive interact with the world, and how we perceive the world.
Yeah, but the morphology of our body will always stay the same. You see what I'm saying? We would never start to grow animal features and animal characteristics. You see what I'm saying? Our genetics internal structure will always be the same because neuromelanin can go from a magnetism all the way to solid through the states of matter that it can go through.
Go ahead, King of Kindness.
What's up, guys? So, like, this is what the world does. Like, this is what the world has been. This is what the world is trying to uphold. They're fucking liars. They literally LIE'd about everything. Here's the thing, right? When you're talking in the realm of, like, let's say science, right? Because I used to consider myself a science guy, right? In the quantum mechanics, string theory, the universe. You know, my nickname, I was so much into it, my nickname was Galileo, right? So then I had a spiritual awakening. Oh shit, these motherfuckers, they lied about everything. And that's fine, that's cool. The people who have been ruling, they're liars. So of course, it's the biggest lie ever. Just like all of the other lies that they tell. Right? When you're able to see that this is, and don't get me wrong, science has its purpose. But, like, people don't understand that these people, they manipulate things for their will and purpose. It's the same with history, right? So when I say my people, right, are the real Black Americans, are the real Indigenous Americans, right? We're not lying about that. It's just that we decided that, you know what, instead of allowing the world to dictate who we are, we're going to do the research ourselves and find out. And we did. So it's like, I don't know what people, the shift is here. That's the good thing, right? Because the people who literally LIE'd about everything in history, their time is up. And no, this isn't racist because it's good and bad and all races, etc. But I mean, I love that I came up because I love this prompt. It's if you believe that, you are either a NPC. I'm sure some of y'all know what that is, or you're one of those people in charge of upholding the LIEs of the world to keep people in darkness as the shift is here. So it's like, you know, I have these conversations and it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I do my best in my own little way to try to make people aware of what's going on, but they want to go with the lies of the world, and I'm gonna land with this, okay? People are either going to DIE with the lies of the world or rise with the truth. And it's as simple as that. I'll land.
Okay. Okay. What you said you don't believe in the evolution theory, but then classified yourself a Black American. So
American Indian, yes.
yes, a title that was given to us by our oppressors, the same people that this evolution theory is making a lie about. Because again, we are not any of these titles. These titles come from all of these languages, and the language comes from the word languish, which means to suffer. So we didn't speak none of these vernacular languages because it doesn't create audible friction within our pineal gland to communicate with fields past this planet. So we always communicated naturally through telepathy or thought transfer. And the way we do that is through our morphogenetic field. So every time a Black baby, hold on for a second. Every time a so-called Black baby, it doesn't matter where they are on this planet, that field that is self-organizing and self-sustaining, that is organizing and shaping that body into place through the cell migration, they actually pull the memory and the information of all Black people, not from just this planet. All of that information gets stored inside of that Black baby. So it doesn't matter where you at. If you have the same genetics, we are always going to be connected through quantum entanglement and connected through morphic resonance. So there is no such thing as Black American, African, Australian. None of those titles actually exist. You see what I'm saying? The universe works in cycles, rhythms, and functionality. She doesn't work on titles.
Okay, so I agree with some things you said, and
chill all niggers, burn all niggers, chill all niggers, burn
fine.
all niggers, swing all
kiddo.
niggers.
No worries, kiddo. It's fine.
And,
I agree with some things you said, and I disagree with other things you said. You ever heard of the term like sometimes you got to meet people where they are? Now you're absolutely right about the labels and titles, right? So that's my people are the real indigenous American Indians, right? Black Americans.
Hold on for a second. We do one at a time, y'all. And if people keep talking, we're gonna take people off the panel. We're not playing that. We're trying to have a respectful, natural flowing conversation. So go ahead and land your plane so we can move on to the next guests that haven't spoken yet.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I like I said, I agree with some things you said, disagree with other things. So sometimes you got to meet people where they are, right? So I say that so people would know, right, or have a general idea, even though they're muddy in the waters with that. But at the end of the day, Black Americans, we're the American Indian. So I'll land my plane. But you're right about that, the labels. But again, gotta meet people where they are.
But he keeps telling you about morphology and the morphic resonance, which means that you're directly connected to every so-called Black person in the universe. It goes out beyond this planet, right? So I know y'all are trying to do this divisive stuff, but y'all don't have a base understanding of genetics, which means you don't have a base understanding of the haplogroups, which means you don't have a base understanding of hematology, which means you don't understand the blood or the antigen. So I'm tired of the divisiveness that y'all can't articulate. I heard what you had to say. I didn't cut you off once. See, y'all come in here, y'all say, we agree, but you believe in that shit. So you don't agree. That's why he's telling y'all that y'all need a base understanding of who the fuck you are. Like, it's getting to the point to where we too grown for this shit, man. We're too grown. Because if you understand your DNA, your DEA, and that the deoxyetheric acid is the neuromelanin and how that functions and how they have you operating way below your frequency, you're going to wish you unify with another brother or sister. That's the thing. Because you don't understand. That's what helps power your DNA up. Why do you think they have us divided? Through the titles, y'all. So go deeper than the title and understand what the so-called black or the American Indian or the Nigerian, whatever the fuck, go deeper and figure out what you're actually composed of on a biochemical level. I don't have no like, you know what I'm saying, remorse for that shit. I'm over and done with it. Go ahead. Isa, Ray, or whatever, you already spoke. Let's get some new people.
Yeah, no problem. I hear you.
Number 5, go ahead. Go ahead, number 5. You're on mute.
Hi everyone.
Hold on, Kenny. Your name is not number 5, bro. Give us a second. Number 5 was up here first, and then we'll get to you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that.
No worries. Number 5. All right, he came up here by accident. Go ahead, Kenny.
Hi everyone. I'm Kenny, and I am based in South Africa, right? And I come from a long lineage of royalty, né? And during the whole colonization issue, the whole kingdom lineage got lost. So the whole reason that I'm speaking on that is because when I look at evolution, right, I have a lot of questions, and I really went deep into it, and I think that I went down a rabbit hole that I have found myself stuck in, right? Because they tell us that okay, the humans started from Adam and Eve, and all of that, but when you look at the history, black people are the oldest human beings to ever exist on this planet, right? And then that makes you think a bit deep because according to their science, which is the Western and let me say white people, I feel like that's fair. When they retrace evolution, they look at it from a standpoint of we were first apes, but when you look back at the history, especially within South Africa, where they say that this is where they discovered the first human beings, right? It leaves a lot of questions out there, especially within the religious space as well, because when I look at that, I have a lot of questions. When reading the Bible, I have a lot of questions. So my main question coming on here on this platform and sharing my consciousness with all of you beautiful people is that I'm really trying to understand how you guys look at it, because from the standpoint that I look at it, is that there's a lot of loopholes in every single thing that they provide, right? You look at the lost sea scrolls. You look at Ethiopia saying that okay, they had Christianity first. You just look at the whole landscape, like even like Antarctica. Why won't they really let us delve deep into that and really try to understand that and really try to understand the human beings that came before us? Why is that history lost? Why is that not put into us where we can really dissect it, right? So I'm coming on here as a student, if anything else. I'm really trying to understand how people that look like me, which is black, when they look at the whole geopolitical landscape, us as a people, we are people that have no power, even though in terms of the spiritual landscape, we have the most power. But within the world that we live in, we are the most oppressed. But we come up with all of these definitions and we come up with all of those theories on who black people are. We say that black people are gods. They say that black people are apes. And when you retrace the history, there's so much more into it that really needs like a light shined on it, right? So my whole question is, when you guys are looking at the melanin human being, what are your thoughts on it? when
Nah, brother. Hold on. You said a lot, man. I don't know how you arrived at that conclusion with that question, man. So let's
so
circle it back. I value the frequency. I listen to everything that you said, right? I ultimately I value your words and your frequency. I really do. But let me help you understand your question, okay? I'm now
okay,
gonna flip it back on you. How do you
okay.
feel about evolution? Simply. Is
I
evolution
feel
fact or is it false?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's false
Okay.
because there's so much research that is not shared with us. Black human, like black human beings, are the oldest human beings to ever exist on the face of this planet. But
Okay,
there's not.
so when you keep saying humans,
Bro, stop
humans,
trying to lump us in with y'all, man.
Okay,
Black.
so for a
hey,
second, you couldn't even articulate it. So wait till we get back to you, okay?
yeah, we're like, this is not what we're gonna do, man. We're grown people. We don't have to talk to each other like this. There's no way we can build civilizations with each other when we can express more emotional intelligence. Like that's wild to me. So again, when you're saying humans, human means animal man. We don't have
Okay,
animal DNA. You see what I'm saying? If you
okay,
really, if you want to know something, you got to go learn it. You want to go in,
okay.
you want to go into history, but all history is explaining is after the fact that he came to all continents of the coastlines of every continent. The Asian man, the Arab man, the white man, they came to the coastlines of every continent and spread religion, diseases, and parasites onto us. That's what history is about and how they're performing scientific experiment on us. So when you're saying that they they found a neuromelanated organism in South Africa, our DNA, which is neuromelanin, is found all over the cosmos. It's not just found on a landmass. Earth is just one of our homes. This is why it's embarrassing that neuromelanated so-called black people are fighting for who is first, who's blacker than who on a planet that they're naturally from, on a planet that they genetically and biologically identify with. This is what we need to
Exactly.
understand, that we got to look at life in a cosmogenic perspective. We are from the cosmos. Our DNA is forged inside stars. We have stardust. We're made up of interstellar gases and nanodiamonds. This is what we're
Right.
created of. And the whole planet is a hydrocarbonated planet. So it doesn't matter what landmass we're on, it still produces hydrocarbon. All the land masses are connected through water. You see what I'm saying? Just like how your organs are connected through water. You see what I'm saying? So I don't understand what this division thing is about, because we're only focusing on the Black American or the African. Like we focus on, oh, that they created the division first. Well, did any of y'all create those names that you're subscribing to? No. Did any of y'all create the money that y'all subscribing to that has our women on the $20 bill with their head cut off? Did y'all create that? No. So why are
Oh
we
man.
chasing that? You see what I'm saying? Why are we trying to use what they have to try to learn ourselves? Prokaryotic cells, that information is out there. We are prokaryotic cells. You just haven't shifted your perspective to know who you are. You haven't came into that realization to know who you are, because you still look at your brothers and sisters differently. You still look at yourself differently. You see what I'm
I
saying?
don't
You have to
believe
so
you.
so we just have to understand that the answer is in science. We have to understand science. Black people DNA, white people DNA, Asian, that doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? When you talk about neuromelanin and vitrosynthetic eumelanin, vitrosynthetic neuromelanin and vitrosynthetic eumelanin, all of these melanins are lab created melanins. There's more
Exactly.
life on this planet than scientists admit. There's more species on this planet than scientists admit. So I'm
I
saying, all
agree.
over the globe, there's reptilian statues showing you that they created a genetically modified species to walk amongst the organic, natural organisms of the planet, which is us.
Can I interject?
If you're gonna tell me that you're different from another brother from across seas, go ahead and tell me the genetic or biological difference. Don't tell
Sorry.
me anything about culture, because culture is talking about how you were cultivated to think. Because our true culture is magnetism.
So can I ask you a
Okay.
question?
No.
Oh,
Go ahead
sorry,
and
cut.
land Kenny so we can get to the next guest and keep it rolling so we can get to King.
Yeah, we'll get back to you. We just got a lot of people.
Okay, no problem. I just needed to clarify one thing real quick before I mute myself. My main point, and it wasn't really in the fact that I was trying to alienate certain people, right? My main thought was that okay, the history of the human being can be found within the melanin skin, right? And then we look at consciousness as a whole. Then we look at our planet as a whole. Our planet is our life, is literally alive. When we look at photosynthesis from an outer layer in terms of the what do you call those things that live outside our planets that give us networks, satellites, right? They used AI to sort of like read the planet, right? And then they discovered that the planet has a pulse using satellite images and artificial
Go
intelligence,
ahead and
right?
land Kenny.
Yeah,
Respectfully land, my
Yes,
friend.
I'm
please,
trying to land. I'm trying
please
to
land,
land.
my
I'm trying
brother.
to.
Please land because you're
Yes, I'm
trying
trying
to
to.
explain. You're not focusing on the topic. You feel what I'm saying? Please, we have a
Exactly.
lot of people on the panel. I'm not trying to rush you. It's just that you got to land that plane, man. Please.
Okay, sorry. Like my main point is that I am coming from a place that of trying to understand how you guys think, how you guys look at human evolution, right? What your guys understanding is around that, right? So when I say that, I look at it from a point of consciousness where we look at the universe and we say that the universe has so much to offer, but we are so locked out of that energy that sort of like amplifies what consciousness is. What else out there currently exists? You spoke of oceans, saying that oceans have life in it that we still haven't even discovered yet, right? But somehow we are looking at space and everything like that. Nah. So
Did he
my
ever
main
adjust the
point.
prompt? Like, did you ever adjust the prompt, bro?
Okay,
Bro, shut the
hold on for a
like
second. You see what I'm saying? There's no over talking on this panel. So Kenny, with that
Yes.
being with what you just said, you're not actually like the brother is right, but you can't be doing that to your own brother, man. So again,
Okay. Okay.
you're not addressing the with the prompt. You're telling us about human evolution, and then you go out and talk about how life, the planet is life. The problem is that there's two species on this planet. There's a prokaryotic species, a unicellularly functioning species, an autotroph species, and that makes their own food, a self-organizing system. And then there's there's a heterotroph species, which is a eukaryotic cell organism that got genetically spliced into existence or truly seeded into existence by terrestrial organisms. You see what I'm saying? And these cells have multiple different genetic material from different organisms to make a cell. So all of their genetic information doesn't have the same embryological origin, which means that they're not 100% of anything. So
you
they're not
got
natural to the planet. So I was just trying to get that type of talk that we talked about cells and different chemistry and biology, but about the species that we're talking about. So
Oh, okay.
thank you about that.
go ahead,
Frequency.
Comboa.
Yeah, go ahead, Comboy.
Hi guys. Yeah, I
Go
stumbled
ahead
here
and
by luck, and yeah. So,
go
and
ahead and share your thoughts and
On
visions on
evolution.
evolution.
yeah. Just before I go on, I've never been so confused listening to
No, go
to
ahead and
any
tell
topic
us how
here.
you feel about the title on the screen.
Yeah,
Start there first,
we have
please.
a whole panel that wants to speak. So please go ahead and address the topic, please. What are your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory? Do you agree
Well,
with it? And if you agree,
I'm not a specialist of evolution. I just wanna.
Why did you come up here? We can't hear you now. So I'm not sure what's
But I
going
do
on.
know. Yeah.
We didn't hear you. It cut out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what I'm saying is I'm not a specialist or in evolution. I don't understand hydrocarbons or the cosmos energy and all of that, which I think Zerto just explained. So he's left me more confused than what I was trying to learn. So yeah, but what I can say is with human evolution, when you talk of hydrocarbons and all of that, are you saying all humans come from one source? or there
Bro,
was a different hydrocarbon that originated.
my gosh,
I ain't gonna
man.
lie.
Yeah,
I just
man.
said there's two species on this planet. When I say the evolution theory is the biggest lie ever told, meaning that we're not all one human race. We don't have the same genetic structure as white people, as Asian people, as Arab people, as Mexicans, as Dravidians. This is why their physical body, their anatomy and physiology expresses differently than ours. That's what this is about. Meaning that a black woman didn't give birth to an Asian man, to an Arab man, to she doesn't have animal DNA. She doesn't have no animal protein enzymes, no animal atom molecules, no animal tissues, organ cells to give off to an organism. That's what this live is about. And you heard me say there's two different species and then say you're confused. So go see what I said.
Why would you come if you heard him
Like,
extensively explain it to somebody else and you sat there for it? Why would you ask him the same? That's disrespectful.
I can tell you.
I don't want to talk to you right now because the last time we did, you didn't articulate it. So have them sources, okay? We're gonna get to you in a second. I don't want to talk to you right now. Have them sources though.
exactly.
What did I
User,
say?
go ahead, user.
I got a question.
Oh hell.
Come on, man.
Go ahead,
I
user.
look. Do y'all truly believe that black people are the first Native Americans in the Americas?
Tell us what you think. How about that? Tell us what you know. As a matter of
Well,
fact.
Yo, I swear I don't mess, yo. I don't. Can I address him?
Like, nigga is eager to speak. You can tell he eat meat. Nigga doing something he ain't supposed to behind closed doors. You so eager to speak. You should go
look, I
live.
heard something about Willis about this topic.
Why are they?
Okay, man. Look.
Willis dick fit in your mouth, bitch ass nigga.
Yeah.
So this is how Native Americans think.
Yeah.
Because again, we're cosmic beings, and cosmic beings don't behave that way. People with star DNA don't behave that way. You see what I'm saying? These are people who still eating the eukaryotic cell, but telling us to separate from them. You see, you're still eating chicken. You're still eating beef. You see what I'm saying? Your brain is filled with plaque. You have this dissociative personality disorder where you're disconnected from yourself and the universe. So the reason why I know we're cosmic beings is because we possess the same elemental atoms as all stars in space. You see what I'm saying? Hydrogen, helium, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon. All of these different elemental atoms is what makes up the suit that I'm talking in today. And what brought that into existence is a morphogenetic field that my mother and myself created through self-assembly. And this is how life comes about. So I'm just confused on why nobody's coming up to address the prompt. So-called black people are ubiquitous to the entire universe. Our DNA is found everywhere in the cosmos. We are the sun walking in the flesh. I have stardust DNA, interstellar gases, and nanodiamonds that makes up my DNA. And I know that because when I'm in the sun, my integumentary system I can see the little nanoparticles, the nanodiamond particles reflecting all when the sun hits it. And I feel myself being charged when I'm under the sun because I'm undergoing black body radiation. You see what I'm saying? I can make these instances because I've been upgrading my cosmic intelligence by structuring what I'm seeing, by reading genetics, by reading biology, by reading anatomy and physiology and chemistry. Y'all just coming up on here talking about the history that this white man, this Asian man, this fucking Arab man like gave you, these documents that they gave you of them classifying us as names of how they were going to grape us and experiment on us. I don't care if we were the Native Americans. I don't care if we was the Zulus. I don't care if we were any of these titles. Our children are still going missing. 8 million children are still going missing worldwide, and we worried about the titles that the oppressor gave us. We worried about going to get reparations from people who's literally snatching our children, who've been abusing our children. I don't get that. They fed our children to crocodiles. They made shoes out of us, and we're worried about the title he gave us. What about you see what I'm saying? What about the genetic DNA that the universe gave you? You see what I'm saying? What about the birth certificate that the universe gave you, which is neuromelanin? I'm confused. Like all neuromelanated children around the planet are being snatched because of their stem cells, because of their red blood cells, and because of their neurons, of how much they generate light, how they're immortal they are, and how they keep reproducing no matter the environment that they're in. That sounds like a prokaryotic cell. But you don't know about prokaryotic cell, and you only know about African and African American. So you coming up and telling me, oh, we're not the same, this. Tell me the genetic differences. You're spewing patriarchal separation on us. You're separating women from each other saying that type of shit. You don't even get what you're doing. You live in a womb and you don't even know how you're operating under this womb. So
Energy, go ahead.
go ahead.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. Grand Rising, Supreme Rising to all my cosmic beings in here. That's what I'm gonna start off with that. Real talk. I'm gonna go ahead and I was just flicking through. You know what I mean? And like they say, if it ain't for you, pass it on and keep it going. But it caught my attention. I was intrigued. The evolution of. I'm gonna hit the point, and I'm not gonna take that long. They say you got two ears and one mouth. If you really ain't, I come on here and I like to listen. I listen first. And, I learn and keep learning because I learn and I integrate what I know. And that's what it's all about, I'm just, for everyone, if we're going to do something, we're going to learn something. If we're going to teach one, we're going to reach one. We got to, for one, we got to put our pride down. We got to put our egos down. And we got to be receptive to the fact. And if a person come on here, they talking like, you already know. You got the discernment to know, hey, this ain't rocking, okay? Well, sorry, move on. But as a collective, if we're gonna help each other and integrate what we all know, we get the riffraffs, keep the squares out our circle for one, and start to, if it ain't about empowering each other and inspiring each other and learning from each other, then don't let it be. You know what I mean? So that being said, the whole evolution thing, if you really haven't dug and did your own kind of looking and searching and seeking, then a lot of people gonna come on, whoever on here, and they're confused. And you're gonna be confused until you go within and you got to look at these. I'm talking about the linguistics of words, the semantics of words. These a lot of different things. Evolution is. The way you look at things, your perception is, that's everything. Everybody's perception. Everybody's got different perceptions, different journeys, different outlooks. Life is nothing but one big prescription, one big prescription lens is only fit for the person that's meant to wear those lenses. And if somebody else tries to wear those lenses, they are not going to be able to see the same way as the same person, because those prescription lenses, these ain't your lenses. Okay. So that being said, you might not see what I see, and I might not see what you see. But what we can do, we can come together and we can see together and we can see it together. And then, like I was listening to
feel about the prompt, respectfully. What's up with the prompt? Evolution is the biggest lie ever told. Do you agree with that or not?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because for one, we are everything. We are all. These cells inside of our cells inside of our body is everything. It's not just this. It's not just that. We were clay and we were stars and stones before we were clay and bones. Remember that. Okay, so this sheath, this food sheath that you're in, that constantly needs food and all that. This ain't you. You're the awareness behind it. You're not this body. We're only bound on this lower frequency, aka because of the food and stuff like that. Evolution, I think it's taken out of context, and then a lot of people they argue over the wrong situations. Over the wrong things, and it is what it is. But like evolution, I don't think we come. I think we are everything. We are not just this. We're not that. We are the all expressing itself. We're not. I'm not. And I hear people say, "Oh, you're black." You know, I mean, if you call yourself black, you got to do a lot of homework because I'll be damned if I ever call myself black. And that's just for anybody else that wants to. Once you go into when you realize what black, what you're calling yourself, you really want to be calling yourself black. But anyways, that's another story. I just want to say I appreciate everybody. Peace, love, light, knowledge, and power, and keep going, man. As within, without, and remember that. Hey, watch your thoughts and keep it moving. And as evolution, we've always been the all. We forgot. Because when we fell here, when we came in, we fell in frequency. We forgot who we were, and it's now we got to crawl yourself up. You descend and then you ascend. We descended down, we fell down, and we low frequency. Now it's our job to pull yourself back up the whole frequency. Climb the ladder. Get back up Jacob's ladder. Climb the ladder back up. Let go of all the tangible things. Let go of all the things that you thought you were supposed to be here for. Let go of all that. And once you realize that this ain't what it's all about, and when you start to go within yourself, and you're led. And people, I tell people all the time, if you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're doing the work, it's gonna lead you where you need to go. That's when you know. So that being said, like when you go a little above and go beyond what everybody else is talking about, those are the distractions. What everybody else is talking about, that's what you don't need. But I'm gonna let other people talk. Okay, I'm gonna get off of here. All right, I'm gonna let y'all.
For sharing your frequency. Gratitude, my brother.
Hey, that's what's up. Y'all keep it moving.
All right.
Kush.
You mean?
Yes, Kush.
Oh,
No, Kush. Because we're gonna get to you right after Kush. Don't worry.
I apologize. That's why we were trying to move through everybody quick. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Thank you for your patience.
No, I'm here listening, man. I'm here learning because that's really interesting conversation out here. The evolution, the biggest lie ever told, and I do believe that because why I will say I'm agreeing with that because we're all part of nature, and nature you can't create nature. Nature has always been there. There's no beginning to nature, and evolution is like something that you just decide. Okay, let's make it happen. It's like almost like creation, but with nature now, you can't create nature. Nature has always been there. As a matter of fact, nature is what creates, and we are part of nature, and we are the creators. We are the one that creates everything, which is nature, and that's what I just that's my little contribution. But I'm here to listen, and I'm here to learn also.
Okay, abundance for that. So we know that we didn't create. We didn't. So we know that we only create nature, but everything that's a part of the eukaryotic cell species, the multicellular organisms, they're not a part of nature. So we need to be, it seems like we acting like we know that we're the creators, but then when we talk about are we all one human race, we trying to say that we created them or we don't have a true answer. And that missing link is like a portal that keeps allowing our children to be around these people and to be exploited by these people. So we need to start articulating better to ourselves and to each other about the differences within our genetic makeup and everybody outside of us. And the fact that we are all genetically so-called black people the same around the whole entire planet. You see what I'm saying? We need to start creating this atmosphere on the planet so our reality can change. You see what I'm saying? So that's I just wanted to say that. Did you have anything to say?
No, when we're talking about nature, everything that we see in nature today comes from two different origins, which is either of a biogenetic origin or a spontaneous generative origin. And that's what evolution is actually explaining with the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cell. But I got you. Are we talking to you or are we talking to the counterpart?
oh, hi, good. It's me. Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna ask, like what is an animal? Like, how do you define an animal as opposed? Because I think we would classify as animals as well.
So then tell us why you think that based off of your definition of your connotated meaning of animals and how we're that.
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
like we have the same things. Mammals. When it comes to mammals, I mean, we have eyes to see, nose to smell, mouths to eat, heart, blood vessels, legs. Some of us, I guess mammals, they have legs. Like a brain, different cells. Uh, we just there's so many ways we are more alike than not, I think.
Yeah, animals that you're talking about are fall under eukaryotic cell. You see what I'm saying? And when you're talking about we have the same thing as animal, no, we don't, because animals don't have neuromelanin. Natural animals in nature either have eumelanin or pheomelanin. But when we're talking about white people, Asian people, and Arab people, and everybody else that came after that through mixing and involuntary and voluntary breeding, y'all have lab created melanins. You see what I'm saying? You have in vitro synthetic eumelanin and in vitro synthetic pheomelanin and in vitro synthetic neuromelanin, which are all found in mice. You also have Hox genes. That's how your arm knew where to be formed. That's how your head knew how to form. Your legs knew how to form. So our morphology is different. Your genes, your DNA, your body forms from crippled recessive genes. You see what I'm saying? From sulfur dioxide, nitric oxide, and ammonia. That's how your body is formed from. That's the biochemical substance that was lab created, was made to create your vessel. So-called black people, our anatomy is formed naturally through the universal resonance or morphic resonance or 432 hertz. You see what I'm saying? We are self-organizing systems. We are not the body. You see what I'm saying? We are the consciousness that is operating the body. We are quantum fields, a bunch of quantum fields that make up one quantum field. And the way we know how to form our bodies is that we obtain memory and information on how to shape and form from living past systems that move to different dimensions. So we have a different way to come into being. And we can also tell that if we have two different genetic structures, then we're going to have through two different phenotypes. This is why our phenotype, which is our physical characteristics and behavior, is completely different than y'all's. You see what I'm saying? We're not the same species. So the black woman, the so-called black woman, she doesn't have any animal DNA, any animal cells, any animal proteins and enzymes. She doesn't have any prokaryotic cells. She can actually create a child by herself through parthenogenesis and extract the selenium and zinc, which is what makes the cinnamon fluid.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay, so you did that in the background while I was talking to do that. So again, so the seminal fluid that is found in so-called black men, she actually has that. She's the one who gave him that, and she pulls those selenium and zinc out of her bone marrow and self-impregnates herself through the Bartholin glands. And this is how she's able to undergo parthenogenesis or binary fission, which again is only seen in prokaryotes.
Can I ask a question now? And thank you for that. So do you believe in the scientific method?
No. Again, you're saying, do I believe? We was just having a conversation. You was telling me that we are all animals and we all have animal cells and we have the same thing. I just rebutted back and said, no, we don't. And I gave my extensive scientific reasoning on why we don't. You can't just skip past what I just said and not address that, because that what I just said is directly proving to you that we're two different species and we shouldn't be living in the same society as each other, and we shouldn't be getting medically and psychologically evaluated by your people, and we shouldn't be getting policed by your people. This is what this information that I'm saying that you just happily skipped over is displaying. So I want you to really address that first before you move forward to ask me a question.
Okay. Well, I don't have. Oh, okay. So I have a problem because on one hand, I'm looking at peer reviewed science, like scientific, like evidence that evolution is the most likely theory that why we see such diversity and on this earth, and at the same time, and I have you just telling me to believe you.
Okay, so go ahead and tell me within those articles that you're looking at, how did we go from haploids to diploids?
Please.
Go ahead and tell me. Oh, you just told me out your mouth you're looking at scientific research, pure edited reviews, right? So have I. So go ahead and tell me, how did a prokaryote engulf another prokaryote to make a eukaryote? How did that happen? How did we go from haploids to diploids? Go ahead.
So that's the thing, that's what you have to prove, right? So that's what
No.
you have to
Can I say
prove.
something, please? I just was listening for a while here, and I just wanted to say something.
Oh,
First of all, y'all love coming in here and telling us that we're wrong or
We have
trying
to
to
prove
disagree,
something.
and that we have to prove and disagree and show something to you. Number one, I'm the co-host. I run this live all the time. I just did for the last 2 days. Books are pinned on my page, and we're sitting next to our books, right? We're literally sitting next to the books. I already mentioned earlier in the live when you were in here, Why Darkness Matters is written by 4 BOK scientists. I already asked you, do you have a base understanding of embryology or embryogenesis? And you told me you knew what an embryo was. So again, you don't have a base understanding of this conversation, and you're trying to do reverse psychology with people that understand psychology, neuroscience, the morphogenetic field behind it. Stop being disingenuous, y'all. If you don't know something, it's way better for you to say, hey, I don't know, I'm a little ignorant in that, than acting like you know and lying to the rest of the people that's
Take
in
your own
here.
advice.
And pushing the goalposts further when we're talking about evolution. If you don't have a base understanding of that, then leave. When you say peer review, who peer reviewed it and what was peer reviewed, right? All scientists are not the same. A climatologist doesn't peer review technically the same information that a molecular gastronomist would, because they are involved in two
right.
different.
No, and nobody is saying that.
So let's not overtalk each other, right? Because we let you speak and you just keep asking us questions and keep insinuating that we're wrong, but you haven't brought science either. You're saying, well, I looked at peer review. Tell me what it is.
So the thing is,
Put it on the screen.
it's like
Put it
a
on the
peer
board for us
reviewed.
to look at. Tell us what
Okay,
was peer
so
reviewed. What's the name of the article?
fine. I'm
And
ignorant.
show what part of the scientific method was used for whatever it is. Stop playing with people that you know understand.
Can I explain it? Can I explain
Hold
it to
on
you?
for
The
a second.
scientific. Okay.
Hold on for a second.
We've been
Just
asking
relax.
you to
Yeah.
explain it since the beginning, and then your husband spoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were asking, are we going to talk to you or him?
It's me. It's only me. That's all. It's only.
Hold on for a second. You made a statement saying that we so-called black people have possessed animal cells. You made a statement saying that aren't we all mammals? Aren't we all animals? Aren't we made up of the same? You said that out your mouth. So with you making those statements and me giving you a scientific rebuttal on that, and an extensive explanation of why that's not true, you couldn't give me one back.
I'm ready.
Hold on for a second. You went to your computer and you said you was finding scientific studies of pure edited, but that's cool. You didn't, again, like she said, you didn't tell us anything about these scientists, which scientists. So I just ignored that and just asked you, can you tell me within what part of their article are they telling us how we went from haploids to diploids? How a prokaryote actually changed to a eukaryote over time? Can you actually explain that to us? And if you can't, then just we gotta respectfully move to the next guest. There's no reason on why we need to be wasting each other's time, right?
I understand where you're coming from, and I just think that there's a big difference in understanding. I don't think you guys understand what the scientific method is, or what a peer reviewed paper, what peer reviewed research is. I didn't say I went to the computer to look at an article that was peer reviewed. I'm just saying that the whole theory, of evolutionary theory is scientific. They have peer reviewed papers, and that's the most likely explanation theory that we have by why we see such diversity on Earth. Now, you guys are saying that is not true. All I'm asking is for then who are your people that have done the research and can provide that document or that research to us to reproduce.
That's not
That's
what
not what you've
happened.
been
That's not
asking.
what happened. When you said you had scientific study, you said you had scientific study explaining on how we are a prokaryote changed into a eukaryote. Now I'm asking. Then I asked you, where
Never
is it
said
at?
that.
Can I ask her a question though?
Alright.
Why do you keep bringing up the scientific method?
Yeah.
Well,
Why are you
because
bringing it up?
that is what you use to prove that, for scientists to prove evidence of what you're talking about. I
Okay,
mean, like, you have to go to the scientific method.
ma'am,
That is
ma'am,
how scientists.
ma'am. Okay, the scientific theory or
No,
scientific
scientific
method.
method.
Hold on,
Yeah.
get her out of here, man. I'm not finna do that shit.
Okay.
Like, the
This over
scientific
talking
method
shit.
was used to create the evolution theory.
Come on, y'all.
Come on, what are you saying?
Like,
They already used it. Like, we're saying that after the peer review, after all the information has been looked at, after every single theory that's been suggested under evolution theory, whether it be the endosymbiosis that he's asking you to prove, whether it be calculation of the allele frequency and speciation, whatever it is, it has already been debunked 75 years prior to Darwinism under the Hutton theory. Earth has the same continuous, cyclical, and reciprocal processes unless something unnatural takes place to it. You have to bring science and I don't know, what ifs, maybe, and I believe. Because nature continues to express no matter what if it's something unnatural taking place to it or not, you can pinpoint what is unnatural based off of what is natural. All right, so
Okay.
Okay, hold on for a second. For Dom, go ahead and tell us your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
I just kind of want to agree with y'all. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Y'all do know that they cannot understand from a soul point of view, right? Like when they speak and like when they go over their words, like go, like when they say repeat, when they go repetitively over the same words, you do know they can't understand the soul point of view of it, right?
Yes, we understand that their brain is not
My
fully
fault for
developed.
saying understand. Like, yeah, but like,
Yeah,
they
hold on
can't.
for a second. We understand that they can't comprehend what we're saying because they have an underdeveloped brain. This lives is more so for our people who still believe in this system and still believe in this society, who still believe in these people, who still believe in jobs, who still believe in the clock, who still believe in the calendar of like, we shouldn't be subscribing to these things. You see what I'm saying? We shouldn't be saying that we're human when we don't have animal DNA. This is what these lives are for, is to bring awareness to our people from what's been keeping hidden from them. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
why they human and that's why we human being. But we not human being. We just kind of, you see what I'm saying? Since we behind the scene right now, we
Okay,
acting like we human
so,
being.
okay, hold on for a second. We do no over talking here, y'all. So
Oh,
Dominic,
I
go
apologize,
ahead.
bro. I swear.
Yeah, I got you with that. You talking about human beings now. So
Animal DNA is the lowest you can ever go as a human being.
yeah. So
Let me know.
again,
Let me know when you're ready, bro.
you brought up the word human beings. So now that you brought up the word human beings, can you go ahead and tell me how do you think people, the so-called black people and everybody else outside of us, how do we all come about? Can you go ahead and tell us your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory?
I'm gonna keep it a stack. Evolution is kind of capped to me. I feel like some of us are our brains, everything is like made off of us. You see what I'm saying? So like the technology and everything outside that only came from us, that you can only do something that was already about. I don't really, you feel what I'm saying? We human. Okay, wait, let me go. We human beings because we act and a lot of people are asleep. You see what I'm saying? Nigga, you know you not, not nigga, my fault. You know you not a human being. You a God in the flesh. But you acting like a human being because that's all we know. The Bible makes it to where we kind of get stuck, and a lot of people don't like to go outside of that. Am I wrong?
What is it that makes so-called black people God? And again, I'm talking about the evolution theory that's trying to merge everybody on the planet as one human race. But when we see so-called black people's DNA is completely different than everybody outside of us. When we look at our red blood cells, they're structured different than everybody outside of us.
Okay, so I've been going through.
That's why I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna say these things, I just want you to go more in depth on what you're talking about, like through like scientific terminology.
I don't really got on with scientific terminology, bro. I'm gonna keep it a stack. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop. I'm with you. You see what I'm saying? But I just feel that a lot of this is, I don't know. I'm gonna come back up in a second, and I got you.
All right. There's more for you to see, my brother. That's all I'm gonna say.
No disrespect. I'm on your side, bro. It's just I got a different point of view, bro.
It's not about my side or any other side. It's about being
Bro, the whole God thing is based off of our people. Am I lying or am I right?
He just, brother, all he did was ask you to give him the genetics and the science behind what you're saying. All he did was ask you to elaborate and expound on what came out of your mouth.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what we're asking, so that way that everybody is listening can get your point of view.
Oh, my bad. Let me drop in, bro.
What? Why you gotta drop?
Yeah, I'll talk. I want to like speak on what he was saying.
We got you, brother. We got you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna give everybody a chance to speak. We just when she's speaking or I'm speaking, we just want to be able to fully express. You see what I'm saying? The same way we're gonna allow you to fully express. Okay. So that's why I'm saying like we come up here and say, oh, like humans and these different words, but we don't even know what we're talking about. When there's two species on this planet, and that's from prokaryotic and eukaryotic. So which species are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? People just want to talk about the abilities we have and just merge it with the eukaryotic cell that's undergoing photocarcinogenesis. That makes no sense to me. So go ahead, go ahead and share with us your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory. How do you think organisms like humans came about, and who they classify under humans that have no animal DNA? Go ahead.
Wait, first off, can you restate that last question? Who do they classify under human? Say that again. I didn't hear that.
What is your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory?
Before I ask that, are y'all asking to educate or are y'all asking to just like hear opinions? Because I'm somebody who doesn't speak to speak. I want to speak to either learn something new or to educate somebody else.
Brother.
Okay, speak to us and so-called educate us on what you know about the evolution theory. That's all we're asking, my brother. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Well, the evolution theory came from Darwinism, if you know what that is. Charles Darwin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. We're listening.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Evolution theory came from Charles Darwin, and I personally don't agree with it because the evolution theory stated that I can't bring out exactly what it states, but I know it composes of the topics of how it's basically how do I explain that shit? What is it called? Like basically nature chose white people is what Charles Darwin wrote in his book Evolution Theory.
One at a time. So yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
And evolution theory, it's really called Darwinism. That's the standard word for it, but evolution theory is what they gave out to like the public or whatever the case may be. And I really don't even know what the evolution theory is, but
hey, I'm a biologist. How can I help you?
Huh?
Yeah, keep going. If
So
you
I'm a biologist.
and
How can I
for
help
one,
you?
okay. Yeah, we don't play that, man. You see somebody else is expressing their frequency and they sharing their thoughts and visions, and you just because of your so-called profession, you want to cut somebody off. So you can come back up here when you learn how to use the cells, your biological cells in your brain, to not cut people off. So you can come back up here, biologist, when you do that. So okay, are you done, One Unk? Are you done expressing your frequency?
No, I just want to say one last thing. One last thing that I know for a fact is that when it comes to evolution theory, that we can confidently say that whites didn't evolve from black and black didn't evolve from white, based off the fact that the white genome hasn't been on this earth for more than 6,000 years, and we have life dating back millions of years. So that's one thing I can confidently say. But when it comes to the evolution theory, I don't know too much about that, so I really came in here to learn.
But you just said it out your own mouth. You just said the answer. You just said that they didn't come from us and we didn't come from them. So you saying that we didn't evolve from them and they didn't evolve from us, you just basically said, without using the scientific terminology of prokaryotic, eukaryotic, that these people have an unnatural origin, which is 7,000 years ago in a lab. You see what I'm saying? So I would just suggest that you should be researching about more about prokaryotes and eukaryotes and how prokaryotes, the unicellular functioning cell, pertains to neuromelanated so-called black people around the planet, and how the eukaryotes pertaining to everybody outside of us, and how those two cells are functioning under the sun at the moment as it's getting harder. So I would just tell you about that you need to go research more about it, because you're right. We have no genetic ties towards each other, because our DNA is neuromelanin, which is condensed sunlight. Their melanin is vitrosynthetic eumelanin, or vitrosynthetic pheomelanin, which are Hox genes, which are found in fruit flies, mouse, sheep, goats, dogs, pigs, primates. So like they have percentages of these different animals, and none of these animals cannot naturally reproduce with themselves in nature to create this animal. So this shows you that they're not 100% of anything. You see what I'm saying? They're not a full organism. They're a percentage of organisms. And this is why their creators created them with the timer. You see what I'm saying? This is why all of their cells have short electrical fuses, that when the sun hits their cells, it actually destroys the nucleus, which is the command center of all the animal DNA within that cell that is communicating through that nucleus, is now being removed. So these people are going to become more animalistic, grow more hair, more tails, more horns, and we're going to start seeing this all over the planet, because the sun and the universe is showing us that we've been living amongst a mixed animal hybrid this whole time, and that we're humans. So we got to get out the fact that we're human, and we have to go into deep introspective of knowledge of self. And that starts with biology, that starts with chemistry, that starts with quantum physics, and that starts with anatomy and physiology. Once you know that your heart and mind is connected to every brother around the planet, every mother of life around the planet, you will start moving in a different fashion.
I hear what you're saying, and you just said so much in like 1 minute. I just learned hella shit. But like with this like evolution theory, and we talking about like humans, right? Black people just cannot be humans because human isn't. It didn't even derive from our culture. We never said the word human. We weren't even the first people to. We weren't the first people to say human because we didn't make that word up. We didn't really create white people, so we didn't create humans. We created ourselves. We manifested ourselves. Human is just a fraction of light manifesting itself into a light body, which is what we are now. Well, what they are now. So we not even human if you want to talk about that. So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
All right. Go deeper, my brother. Gratitude for sharing your frequency.
Yeah.
Go ahead, star man.
Yeah, greetings, guys. To the prompt, I think evolution is real. There's a lot of DNA evidence that points to it. But then, I'm curious with regards to your theories, which I've heard you talk about some, or I presume some of it. Is there somewhere where I can read up more about it, or is there, like some sort of international consensus on your theories as being either an alternative or even now the main theory as to the origins of life and man?
The first thing that you said was that you trust in the evolution theory. And then you
Yeah.
said there's a lot of DNA evidence that proves that. Can you go ahead and expound on that information and tell us how so-called black people are genetically connected to everybody outside of us? Can you go ahead and expound on that?
So first of all, there's a lot of shared DNA between species. I mean, humans even share DNA with rice, with banana. Apparently, we share up to about 60% of our DNA with bananas. We share about 85% with rats. And of course, we've all heard about chimpanzees, that we share literally about 99%, 99 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees. So there's a genetic continuum throughout the species. And then even things like genetic mistakes are copied sometimes between like a species, a genetic mistake when the evolution, when some, of course, after a period of time they've evolved, sometimes that genetic mistake is retained, and we can see this continuum again. And then with DNA, you can reconstruct not just family trees but evolutionary trees. So yes, there's a lot of DNA strongly not
Okay.
just backs up but proves evolution. Yeah.
Trees. What origin do these trees come from? Evolution is suggesting prokaryotes and eukaryotes would have to have came from a different origin because they didn't come into existence the same. So which trees? Can you be specific? I'm kind of familiar with a lot of the genus names with trees now, if you only have that.
Now I talked about family trees and evolutionary trees. So yeah, I don't particularly mean literal trees.
Yeah. So
And
we
I
were
said
just
that, DNA you can use DNA to reconstruct family or evolutionary trees.
But I
yeah
heard him say that we shared DNA with trees.
Oh yeah,
yeah
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm
with
talking about.
bananas.
Which trees?
Every living thing on this planet have some common DNA they all share, and this is because they all
Yeah, like
come from a
the
common
DNA
origin.
range for like
Hold on
rice
for
and
a
banana.
second, King. We're talking to one individual right now, so everybody on the panel, just please be patient until we get to you. Y'all are grown enough to plan what you're going to say. Just chill. Go ahead, start, and go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah, so every living thing on the planet has some genes they all have in common. They all share, and that's because those genes were pretty much there from the beginning. Those genes have been carried over from the very beginning, the very first life forms, throughout the whole evolutionary period. And yes, they are still with us today. Like I
Okay.
said, rice, banana, and in fact, plants and living things all have genes in common.
Okay, so plants like rice, you see what I'm saying? Celery,
Yeah.
broccoli, cauliflower,
Yep.
and banana. All of these plants and fruits are genetically modified. They were created in a lab. They don't have no natural biogenesis or origin in nature. They didn't. The universe didn't generate this organism.
No, they were
So hold on
domesticated.
for a second. I'm not done talking, please. Let's have respect for each other. You see what I'm saying? So again, you saying that we share DNA with rice, we share DNA with banana, but again, the so-called neuromelanated woman, the so-called black woman on this planet, she doesn't have no animal DNA because she possesses totipotent stem cells. She possesses interstellar gases and nanodiamonds within her genomics. You see what I'm saying? Her genomics are hydrogen, carbon, helium, oxygen, and nitrogen. None of those elemental atoms create synthetic mixed hybrid organisms. It doesn't do that. So that's what we're asking. How did a prokaryote change into a eukaryote over time? You see what I'm saying? That's the question I'm asking you because you're telling me that evolution theory is true, but how is it that a prokaryote who's been living on this planet for millions and millions of years, reproducing asexually, is now changing, but we never see that changing over time to now having more than one genetic material within its cell to function the cell. That's unnatural.
Okay, so first of all, things like bananas, rice, tomatoes, they all have wild origins. The reason why we farm them today is because we domesticated them along with some other animals. They all originate from wild variants. Sorry.
They,
Now, sorry?
yeah, you're saying that they originate from wild origins, but you just explained domesticated animals with introgress genes. So you're saying that they share a common ancestor, but what he's saying is, how did this happen? Right? What is the connection between how a wolf now has when it comes to a dog, when both a dog and a wolf come from two different origins. Again, a dog has introgress genes with other animals, other unnatural animals, by the way, and a wolf is origin is biogenesis. So you have biogenesis versus spontaneous generation, prokaryote versus eukaryote, right? Where did the engulfing take place and how?
Domestication of dogs and I don't know bananas was not done in a lab or in a test tube. Domestication is simply a process of selecting.
No. I'm talking about the origin of the cell. All right.
Yeah.
So you're saying a wild species, but again, a dog is a full-grown organism, right? Made up of what? Cells, right? So that's why we're asking you, how did this cell turn into another cell when both of these cells have different origins?
Different genetic structures within the cell to make it different in the different functionality.
Okay, so I think you're going back to the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, not dogs
That's where
and
we got to
wolves.
start
I was
at. Yes.
responding based on dogs and what you said about dogs and wolves. But to the cells, so yes, the first. Okay, before we even get to the cells, let me talk briefly about the origin of life itself, which was the creation of self-organizing and replicating molecules, proteins, amino acids, and then eventually a lipid capsule around them to protect the whole thing. And this was pretty much the first life form. Eventually, sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Eventually, now this first life form was pretty basic. It didn't have any internal organelles, and these were the prokaryotes. These are sorry.
Let's just cut to it. How does the prokaryotic cell reproduce?
Asexually.
And what specifically is asexual reproduction?
Scissiparity.
Give me a second. Stop speaking for him. The fuck? We don't even know if y'all have the same point of view, so let's not do that, all right? So again, you said asexually. What is the mechanism of asexual reproduction with the prokaryotic cell? What is the splitting of the cell called?
I think it's kind of mitosis or something, but yeah.
No, it's not mitosis or meiosis. That only occurs in eukaryotic cells. So I'm saying they undergo binary fission and fusion the same way the sun undergoes nuclear fission and fusion. It's the opposite. Hold on for a second. Before the prokaryotes replicates its DNA within itself and within its cell within the nuclear region, it completely copies it identically with no interruptions and is compact and efficient. So when the cell is doing that, where did the animal DNA and the organelles like mitochondria, all of these different nucleus and different specialized compartments, where did they come in at to where these species can now exist? How do we go from haploids to diploids? You see what I'm saying? How did a prokaryote change into a eukaryote? Because when that question is answered, everything that we're talking about, anatomy and physiology, will be answered. So let's just focus on the cells.
And please land that question so we can get to the next guest, please.
Okay, so prokaryote cells evolved first, and then eukaryote cells came later. The prokaryote cells have been around for 3.54 billion years. Eukaryote cells have been around 1.8, maybe 2 billion years. And eukaryote cells evolved from, when I say evolved, basically eukaryote cells were as a result of two prokaryote cells. It was as a result of a certain interaction between two prokaryote cells, where one of them absorbed the other one, and then over billions of years, the one that was absorbed evolved into the nucleus. There's nothing too crazy about that.
Okay, so the prokaryotic cell doesn't have internal organelles, which means it doesn't have a nucleus. Again, you said that the prokaryotic cell reproduces asexually. So where would the genetic material have come from for it to now engulf itself to produce a eukaryotic cell? And how would it do that when this is the same cell?
And the same
That's what
functionality.
I'm saying. They were
Functionality of the
both.
cell.
They were both. They
So
were
the
both.
prokaryote never stopped reproducing asexually. It never stopped doing that. So you're telling me that they stopped doing that to now become a heterotroph, and now you're telling me that eukaryotes are now the evolved version of prokaryotes, but all eukaryotes, they can't sustain life under the sun though. They're undergoing photocarcinogenesis. When this ionizing radiation hits eukaryotic cell, it actually causes a double strand break or a double bond break within their molecular bonds within that cell. So it actually deletes and disintegrates the chromosome. So how can that be an evolved version of a prokaryote which uses photosynthesis, which uses the light to create its own food and is an autotroph organism?
All right, let's go ahead and get to the next guest, low key. Star, you can stay up here, but other people want to speak.
Okay. Well, can I just say one last thing?
I think it was
Okay. So
Sandra Elaine.
Okay. So quickly,
All right,
I hope you know.
Lynn, very quickly. Go ahead.
Yeah. Eukaryote cells make up pretty much humans and all animals, plants, fungi, and the prokaryote cells you're talking about only make up, a specific set of bacteria, the very first, most ancient life forms. So I don't know why you're trying to make out like one is some sort of bad guy and the other one is the
We
good
didn't
guy.
never said that. That's your perception of it. We're asking, how did the engulfment take place? And you're bringing up morality. I got you though. We'll come back to you in just a second. Go ahead, Sandra.
We'll come back.
Sandra. Go ahead. I think it's Singe, Hominin,
You
whatever.
can call me that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead and tell us your thoughts and visions on the topic.
So, yeah, ask me any question. Go for it.
Go ahead and tell us how we went from haploids to diploids.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically you have the chromosomes dividing, but the cell does not divide.
Of what,
Like the
what
cell
genetic
membrane doesn't
structure?
split
You're
essentially,
just
and the
saying a
cell still functions.
chromosome. Every species on this planet has chromosomes. I'm just asking you, how did the genetic material within that prokaryote change into a different genetic material to become a eukaryote? That's what we're asking. The difference in the elemental atoms within
Yeah, so you
the
can have
chemistry. Yes.
so you can have a situation. So okay, so whether you talk about, so here we're talking about mitosis, I guess in a sense, but let's say you have an organism that can perform mitosis and that only has one version of each chromosome, so it's haploid, right? Yeah, all it takes is an incomplete mitosis. Like you would have a situation where the quantity of DNA in a cell would double, but for some reason, the splitting of the cytoplasm, the cell membrane, into two distinct, bubbles of lipid just doesn't happen. So you have a bigger cell that has more genetic material, and that's it. And then, those two chromosomes can, over time, diverge from each other.
Again, the cell that you just explained, you said it undergoes meiosis and mitosis. That's not a prokaryote.
No, I did not say it engaged in meiosis. No, that came later.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying those two processes are
Meiosis came later.
involved with the eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotes don't
Sure,
do that.
so you can imagine a form of cisparity.
Yeah, I got you, but we're going to have a conversation. We're not finna do all that. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You feel what I'm saying? So, again, prokaryotes don't have the genetic material, the genetic proteins, enzymes, and amino acids to create a eukaryote. Y'all telling me that and about endosymbiosis, which is not happening today in nature. You're trying to do that in labs where you're genetically splicing organisms. What y'all doing in lab is synthetic biology. What nature does is biogenesis. That's what y'all doing.
So how do you think the mitochondria came about? What's your model?
Hold on for a second. So when we tell you that so-called black people are prokaryotic cells. We're
I
not
never
telling
said
you
that.
that we're, again, I said when we're telling you, you see how you're just responding impulsively?
Nucleus in your cells.
Bro, you're a grown man and you just don't want to really have a conversation. You just want to be heard. And you
Yeah.
sat patiently to just overtalk. Okay,
Yeah.
nobody can hear you when you're talking at the same time as us. So I don't, again, we're asking you a simple question. You're saying extra genetic material from a bigger cell, but this big cell has one embryological origin where all of its genetic material came from. So how does it pass on extra genetic material to, we're asking how the eukaryotic cell got here. And you're saying that the prokaryotic cell gave extra genetic material to another cell. How does it do that when the genetic material doesn't express its genes like that?
Yeah, this is why I said, like, when so-called black people are telling you that we are prokaryotic cells, it doesn't just mean that I'm one big bacteria. It means that the cells that make up my skin, the cells that make up my eyes, the cells that make up my liver, the cells that make up my heart, all stem from the same embryological origin. You see what I'm saying? It all came from a totipotent stem cell, which is inside of our mother's wombs. And this stem cell has the ability to create an entire organism from a single cell. So when that single cell divided into 2, 4, 8, 16, you see what I'm saying? It has the same genetic programming and same genetic blueprint to keep a hold of function in the body. But when we look at eukaryotes, the mitochondria that you have, the cytoplasm that you have, the nucleus that you have, all the different extra specialized compartments, they don't come from a specific embryological origin of a species. They come from multiple unnatural species like cows, dogs, fruit flies. Like the guy was saying, banana, rice. You see what I'm saying? Rice is just plastic. You see what I'm saying? It's made of phosgene gases. So I'm that's genetically modified. I don't know why people trying to act like these are natural occurring things on this planet, like synthetic biology doesn't exist, like CRISPR-Cas9 doesn't exist, like genetically editing doesn't exist. And so this is what I was saying. Everybody outside of so-called black people, you're not 100% of anything. When you procreate, when a white woman procreates with a white man, y'all are creating a whole new hybrid species based on the incomplete dominance of the allele genes that you have. Y'all have over 25,000 genes from different plants, from different animals, from different fruits, from different microorganisms, from different fungi, which have been genetically spliced in the lab. Y'all don't want to accept the fact that the same way the donkey came about, the same way the corn came about, is the same way you came about into existence. So I wanted to put something on the screen for a second before we move forward. I wanted to put something on the screen real quick. So I just wanted to put this on the screen. So it says scientists create an artificial womb. A research team created a device that mimics a pregnant mammal's womb. Nature's Communication reports that a fetal lamb successfully grew in a device for weeks. Ultimately, they hope to test this on what? Humans, which is y'all. And that's the picture that I have under the lamb one. That's a fake womb and a fake uterus that is supplying fake synthetic nutrients to that lamb for it to grow. It didn't, nothing in nature birthed that from a natural womb. You see what I'm saying? So y'all were made in ecto wombs, and the process of that is ectogenesis. You see what I'm saying? Introgression. They introgress multiple different animal DNA and all the other unnatural organisms together through sonoporation, through electroporation to create this organism. This is a genetic fact. You don't come from us. You see what I'm saying? There's no way a prokaryote changed into a eukaryote when all of these scientific studies that you have from cell biologists are just stating that these two organisms exist. They're not stating that you came from us. They're not stating that. That's why when I asked Star, he started to say, because there's no genetic explanation for the eukaryotic to live on this planet, to be on this planet when their chromosomes delete under the natural sunlight that all organisms use to live. So with that being said, go ahead, division, and then we'll circle back around the panel.
Hello. Yeah, I'm actually going to be very brief. Au contraire of other people that have been on this live and that are watching right now, I'm not as educated as them or have enough knowledge on the subject. So I'll just ask my question, which is a very important question, which I don't believe a lot of people ask. I'll just assume that evolution is not real. So if evolution is not real, there's something in science that we are lacking, specifically in cancer development, in vaccines, for example, because all of that run into Darwinian evolution. So what's your guys' take on it? What should we do in science? What does your model propose or give science to deal with those problems? What do you do? Do we as scientists or something? What do we do if Darwinian evolution is false? How do you deal with cancer development? How do you deal with vaccine
So again,
development?
cancer is the eukaryotic cell.
Exactly.
Every single disease and venereal disease that these people are connected to is also connected to cancer. Why do you think the medical industry is the way that it is? So again, the only, like what you're saying, let's assume that evolution is true. Well, we don't have to assume. We've never seen evolution take place in nature. We've only seen it happen in vitro. So again, since we're talking about in vitro, I'm not actually done. The only explanation would be genetic engineering and introgression. That's what science is saying.
My question is exactly what I said. It was actually the opposite. Let's take into account that evolution is a lie. So if evolution is a lie, and we use evolution to progress cancer development and stuff like that, what is missing? If they assume that evolution is true and they acknowledge
Do you know how cancer develops in the body?
Exactly. That's why I'm asking.
Like
it's the cell evolving. That's how the cancer.
Which cell?
Which cell? The eukaryotic or prokaryotic?
Again, I'm not as educated as other people.
What did you come here to talk about?
Here to do if you didn't know?
But because I was asking you guys, what do we do? What do we do if evolution is not true and evolution is used for so many things? What do we do?
What? It's not true. That's what you just said. So how would it be used?
Well, it's used to stop viruses from evolving. Like, for example,
evolution right now can be used to stop which viruses? Name me 10 of them right now.
Well, have you ever heard of the corona vaccine that we developed, like in light speed?
What's the origin of that? What's the origin of that? Please tell me. Please tell me. How is it created?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
It wasn't created. COVID wasn't created. COVID evolved to reach us. Well, it was already present in like bats and stuff like that. We ate bats, and because we ate that bat, the cancer, the corona evolved, and it reached humans.
Got you. So something unnatural took place. Another species. You're saying you ate bats. You ate bats. Right? And coronavirus is a byproduct of that.
Yeah, and we got affected with coronavirus, and coronavirus found a way to evolve in our body, and it managed to spread.
You ate a bat, and as the byproduct of that, you received a disease, and you're telling me that that's natural.
Well, that's evolution right there. It's the virus of corona evolving.
Bro, what the?
You eating a bat is not evolution, bro. Because again,
I'm not.
Coronavirus is a zoonotic disease. You see what I'm saying? Sickle cell, all of these things, what's it called? Chlamydia, all these different venereal diseases, they all stem from zebrafish. They all come from cows. You see what I'm saying? HIV, AIDS, all of these come from the animals that y'all share DNA with. So you're not getting it from the animals. You're getting it because the sun is hitting your cells and removing the nucleus out of your cells, which means that your cells are not going to properly communicate on what genetic information they allow in and out of the cell. So now with that proper in communication, micro deletions starts to take place. 1p36 gene starts to delete. You see what I'm saying? 3q27. If you actually look up what ionizing radiation does to eukaryotic cells, it's actually deteriorating y'all. It's destroying and removing the chromosomes out of your body. You see what I'm saying?
I have a question.
You're undergoing photocarcinogenesis. is what I'm
You
telling you.
believe? Okay, I have a question. You believe that like Corona was only spread because white people have like you know, a worse skin and they get they are more
No,
susceptible to.
that's not what I said. The reason why diseases, parasites, and antigens and pathogens exist is because there's a mixed animal hybrid, which is white people, Asian people, Arab
Okay.
people. You see what I'm saying? Dravidians.
Yeah, but I have a question.
All of y'all share DNA with multiple organisms who's not supposed to be inside of one cell. A cow DNA is not supposed to be in the same cell as a monkey DNA,
Well,
because it's going to tell the cell to function and structure different. You see what I'm saying? They're going to have problem communicating with each other. This is why you need vitamins and minerals from us to try to sustain life on the planet, but it actually is harming you. You're actually undergoing acute body radiation, because every time y'all are around us, we actually let off photon emissions, and we're burning y'all up. You see what I'm saying? So we do the same thing. The same thing that the sun is doing to y'all, we're doing it to y'all as well, because we have the same DNA as the sun walking in the flesh.
But how come black people were affected by COVID as well? Wouldn't they be immune?
How
are we affected?
How did so-called black people get introduced to diseases and viruses?
I want to see what he was.
I have no idea. I mean, I believe in evolution. I believe it's natural. In your idea, I have no idea what you think. How black people come to have disease?
We can't. You feel me?
So go ahead and tell us how.
I think black people get disease like everybody, because you know, I don't believe that there's a difference between the black people or white people or Asian people. There's no difference. We are all humans.
Hold on for a second. But I'm gonna come clean. Can you answer our question? How are so-called black people affected by so-called coronavirus or any other disease?
Did black people not get COVID at all? Were black people immune to COVID?
My question: how are so-called black people affected by your coronavirus and the rest of the diseases you're talking about?
You made that statement.
Black people are human. Humans get afflicted with cancer and other diseases like COVID.
One last time, okay? How?
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
Tell us the scientific process.
Explain to me the mechanism and how the cell is affected, please.
Yes.
The mechanism how this again? No, I don't know. You can drop me for that.
So let's not lie.
Exactly. So you don't know, but you're saying that because again, so-called black. Hold on for a second. I'm not gonna keep doing that with your ass. So-called black people are not human. Human means animal man. We don't have no animal DNA because we don't have eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells make up animal organisms. Prokaryotic cells make hydrocarbon suits. We are walking in a crystalline hydrocarbon suit. So-called black people, we don't have flesh like they do. It's crystalline. Before molecules change into cells, they have to undergo a crystalline state. So we're crystalline organisms, hydrocarbon. You see what I'm saying? The same way a star. Hold on for a second. The same way a star is born in space is the same way we come into existence during the zinc spark in our mother's womb. You see what I'm saying? This is studied through embryogenesis of how we come about. So we don't have animal DNA. We have stardust DNA. Y'all have animal DNA.
So if by your own words, again, it's not me saying this. If by your own words, black people are not human, what are they?
No. Tell us, look, you're being disingenuous, and I'm gonna keep it a buck.
I'm not. He just said that black people are not human.
No, listen. I asked you the same question.
I didn't say that, by the way.
We're done. Like, if you can't let other people respond to you and you're eager to speak over something you don't understand, how can you be eager to speak on something you don't understand?
And I said multiple times, the same way we come about is the same way a star comes about when they're born in molecular clouds. You see what I'm saying? We have stardust DNA. We don't have animal DNA. How many times do I got to tell you that? We don't genetically move like you. We move in rhythms and cycles.
What he's talking about is the comparison of nuclear fusion and fission to binary fusion and fission. When you have a base understanding of the science that's being discussed, you should be able to connect the dots. But if you don't, you're going to ask questions and not understand that you're asking us the same question over and over. You just asked the same question everybody else been asking for the last 3 hours. So we've been giving you the answer, and you and the other boy was in here, oh, yeah, I got it. but neither one of y'all could answer the question, but y'all were talking shit in the comments.
Yeah, none of y'all told us how endosymbiosis actually happens in nature.
You just gave us the
You
definition.
just said that this happens. This is how it happens, but where is it found in nature? How come different cell biologists, different evolutionary biologists are still saying that we still don't know how it happened, but that's the most likely explanation? That's not true. We don't see, again, neuromelanated people with no animal DNA give birth to people with animal DNA. That which is natural in nature will never change unless something unnatural takes place to it. So I think it was King Slime. Go ahead and tell us your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
You're saying how we're not banned.
So, in my opinion, I feel like we started off as something we can't even explain. You know what I'm saying? It's more to us that we started off from. Simple as that.
So you know,
I
or
think
you just don't know?
You don't know, my brother?
No, I know we have to. There's no way that we just are humans, like regular humans.
So what are we?
I think that we're adapting to, you know, the poison that they're placing on us. You know, like even them changing our names, changing our culture, changing the things we eat.
They ain't changed nothing. You see what I'm saying? We are subscribing to what they're giving us. We don't have to subscribe to it. So we're just asking you, what if you're saying that we're something else that's not human, you got to be able to explain that. Because imagine a 5-year-old girl ask you that question. Imagine a 10-year-old boy ask you that question. Is that how you will respond to the next generation about who they are, about how they shouldn't be subscribing to this system, about how they're connected to stars? Is that how you would respond, my brother?
No, that's not the right way, but how you said it was correct. My fault.
Yeah, so
I think we're connected. I think we're connected to the stars. It's something way more that we do not know.
Okay.
Neuromelanin. You do know. It's literal memory. It's in your brain.
Yeah, it's in your memory. The same.
It's things that we know about us, but it's things that we will never know. they you know, it's so crazy.
The only reason why you're saying
we're so old of a race. Our race is old.
But the thing is, every geological and emotional changes that our ancestors went through from this planet to another planet and every other planet is stored in your DNA right now. So you're able to tap into this information, but you have to be in the perpetual conscious motion of learning. You see what I'm saying? That's how your morphogenetic field and that's how your mind and your brain upgrade. You see what I'm saying? That's how you start using more of your brain capacity to where you unlock and illuminate your nerves and unlock extrasensory perception. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
So you need to, like neurogenesis and neuroplasticity is what you need to start introducing your brain to. And you introduce your brain to that by changing the habits that you're performing today. If you're performing habits that's not dealing with being in the sun, that deals with not eating according to your genetics, that deals with you procreating outside of your genetics, you are moving out. You're moving in a treasonal act. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
You're poisoning not just yourself, but you're poisoning our species. So you
need to. That is true.
So that's why I'm just trying to tell you, don't even, everybody who's in here, don't believe nothing we saying. Go learn for yourself and really sit down with yourself and really see like what you see. And does that
some
make
things
sense?
some knowledge is already in you though. For true.
All of it is.
Some knowledge is already in you.
Like all of it is, but again,
it's still good to research though.
Okay, I got you, my brother. Thank you for sharing your frequency. You feel what I'm saying? And anybody who has questions about their DNA and their melanin and what they should be doing on this planet, it's all in your DNA. You see what I'm saying? You should be learning about your neuromelanin. You should be learning about how prokaryotes you move on the planet, so you can know how you should be moving on the planet. You see what I'm saying? Before you ask a question externally, ask that question internally. You have a whole council of yourself within yourself of different emotions energies. You know, see what I'm saying, within you, that is regulating and processing information before sending that to the brain. You see what I'm saying? That's what neuromelanin is. So I really want our people to just please study themselves. Every question that you have, how to be in a relationship, what food do I need to eat? How do I need to be moving on this planet? Why do I still view my brother and sister this way? It all can be answered if you study genetics, chemistry, biology, neurology. You see what I'm saying? Anatomy, physiology. You see what I'm saying? Study the different melanin types on the planet. Studying prokaryotes and eukaryotes. This is the things that you got to be looking at, because we're coming into a where everybody has to become self-sufficient enough to know that how to move on the planet. And once you come into your own individual light, you will understand how everybody else on the planet is needed. You see what I'm saying? That is natural for you to continue and move forward with as a species. So I just really hope that we, instead of going around and spreading division, lies, that we are studying ourselves, because it's embarrassing that we can't even articulate to ourselves who we are. We have to go send our children to a mixed animal hybrid so they can teach our children about the earth, and they're lying to them. See what I'm saying? They're indoctrinating them. They're feeding them poison, and we rather send it to them because we don't want to have mental discipline of learning who we are to pass down genetic information mentally, because we're only so focused on passing down genetic information physically. Now we're just creating children without no guidance. So we need true guidance, you see what I'm saying, within ourselves to guide the next generation. And we do that by learning yourself. That's the number one rule in the cosmos. You see what I'm saying? The information that you tell your other brother and sister, you will be held accountable for that. And you yourself, as the planet is increasing in frequency, is going to hold yourself accountable for that, because we're becoming our own self-judge, our own healers, our own doctors. This is what's coming about on this planet. All neuromelanated people has to learn how to become, as some form or fashion, to be self-sufficient, so we can learn how to depend on each other like how we used to, like how ants live, like how honeybees live. You see what I'm saying? How elephants live, how lions live. This is how we have to resort back into nature. We can't be looking at each other with animosity. We can't be looking at each other with jealousy. We can't be looking at each other with envy. We are the exact replication and reflection of each other. And we can tell that we are the exact replication and reflection of each other due to our morphogenetic field and the totipotent stem cells that our mothers have. You see what I'm saying? All so-called black people around the planet are connected to each other. And we
I
also,
agree.
and this is why they said, and they found the so-called ghost junk DNA within our woman, because she has a whole set of genes within her that is completely connected to a whole group of another black civilizations outside of this planet. You see the Sphinx, you see the pyramids
Yep.
on Mars. So that tells you alone that we're a ubiquitous species. So this fight about African American, that's an illusion, because guess what? Still, our children are going missing. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't matter where
Yep.
you at. No matter where you at. 8 million children on the planet right now are going missing, and 80% looks like us. They're getting abused. 27 million of our people in the Middle East right now, 27 million of them are in slavery right now.
Slavery.
They're in slavery right now. The same thing that we like to talk about, oh, back in the day, that's happening right now to our genetic makeup, and we're allowing that shit. You see what I'm saying? This is why we have to learn ourselves. There's no other road to take. There's no rigorous system that we need to take. You see what I'm saying? The only road is the one from within. The only way out is within. The road of racism is completely shut off. The road of reparation is completely shut off. The road of us being all humans, that's completely shut off. So what are you waiting for? We got to get back to ourselves so we can get back to our babies.
Yep.
If we keep playing around with the knowledge, we allow, that's another child being snatched. Every 30 seconds, one of our babies are being snatched. Every 30 seconds. And we can stop that. We can literally say, hey, we're going to move right here You see what I'm saying? We don't want no meat eaters around us. We don't want no mixed animal hybrids around us. And we're gonna teach and guide our own children. And if anybody tries to come and disrupt that, you see what I'm saying? We're going to protect them by any means. That's the same way hippos move. That's the same way elephants move. That's the same way lions move. That's the same way certain insects move. Go try to fuck with their family and watch how they all come at you. That's how we
Yep.
need to be moving. You see what I'm saying? We have to let all that negative vibrations go.
And it's crazy because it's a lot that we do know about ourselves, but it's so much that we do not know. And the stuff that we do know, they're using it against us. It's a form of witchcraft. You know?
The deeper you
That's all
go,
that's
the
all that's
deeper
going
you can
on.
manipulate it.
Yeah,
That's
talk,
that's
baby.
why we've been doing this for 4 years, and it doesn't matter who we talk to. It actually strengthens our neurogenesis. I remember when I first started learning the basis of totipotent stem cells, and I was pronouncing it wrong, but I knew exactly what the fuck I was talking about. You can go back to the lives, the very first ones, when I was saying totipotent instead of totipotent. So the deeper you go, the more you gain consciousness. But what's happening is a lot of our people are getting at the door thinking they know everything, and then they're plateauing. Especially when we look in the so-called spiritual community, everybody think the epitome of spirituality is the diet, and then that's it. 9 ether beings, that's it. But if you ask the brother or sister, can you explain to me ether? What's the symbology or the importance or the significance of 9? They not gonna be able to tell you. That's why I was a sister in here earlier. I don't know if she's still in here, but she was saying to someone on the panel, you don't have a soul. I said, can you explain that to her? She was like, oh, am I wrong? No, I asked you, can you articulate it? Why would you say something that you can't articulate? That's our problem. We just not studying. If you're cognizant, and if you hear another brother say 9 ether being, okay, go do the research. You see what I'm saying? So that way when you put your energy behind that, it wakes the next brother or sister up. Y'all still trying to take and usurp from brother panic. You see what I'm saying? We heard that on the last, like Bobby Hemmett. Them brothers already came, saw, and did what they did. It's you. We got to keep passing the knowledge down, which means that we got to keep aligning ourselves with that. And as a community, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
That's just that's what it is.
we gotta stop seeking, stop searching. You see what I'm saying? Stop looking and start embodying and becoming. You see what I'm saying? We gotta start actually being what we know we are. You see what I'm saying? Start moving on this planet like the organic species of this is our home. You see what I'm saying? We need to start moving like how you move in your home, how comfortable you move in your home. That's the same way we need to be moving on this planet. And anytime a genetic stranger tries to step up to us and they ask, hey, who's in charge here? We all say us. All of
Yep.
us. We all in charge. And with that power right there, they will never be able to psychologically infiltrate us. So I appreciate you, my brother. I'm a
Yeah, Kami Kazi.
Mhm.
Go ahead, and then it's actually I'm gonna come clean. I don't know if Two Straight was up
Yeah.
here first or Kamikaze. Y'all
Yeah.
figure that out for us. Who was up here first?
I was up here first.
Yeah, he was here first. Plus Starman.
All right, yeah, no problem. Go ahead, too. Tell us
Yeah,
your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
I don't really believe in evolution actually, but I'm just here to learn. I have a questions. I have a question. That's why I came up here. A question about the. You guys said something about the Asian and the European DNA being a mixture of different species or different animals. Please, can you throw more light on that? Because that's what I want to know actually here.
Oh, you're Asian. Okay, I see. I hear it. Yeah, the Asian man it's actually spliced with the snub-nosed monkey. This is why y'all have the Epican iPhone, which is different than your genetic counterparts. So, but you also still share DNA of cows and dogs and fruit flies like your counterparts, like the the white man is spliced with a chimpanzee. The white woman is spliced with a baboonist monkey. So these are the main phenotypes or template of genes that run your body. So this is why there's slight differences between you and a white woman or you and an Arab man. But y'all are all still part of the eukaryotic species because you guys are genetically spliced. Y'all are only 7,000 years old, and there's no genetic proof on this planet on how eukaryotes came from prokaryotes.
Wow. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, how does this affect meat eating?
How does this affect me eating?
Yeah. Or
I
how
mean,
does meat eating affect our DNA?
okay, I mean, for my people, my species, the prokaryotic species, we shouldn't be eating meat. We don't need any actual genetic information from any other organism for us to regenerate ourselves. But y'all do need to eat meat because your osmolality level in your stomach is high, which means that when the food actually hits your stomach acid, it undergoes putrefaction. You see what I'm saying? So meat is rotting inside of your body, and you have parasites, different type of parasite like toxic plasma gondii, and that's the main parasite that y'all have within y'all that you pass on to different organisms when you're around in different environments. So like for y'all can keep eating what you eat because again, if you have a DNA of a cow and a DNA of a chimpanzee and a DNA of a dog and a DNA of a fruit fly, what do these organisms eat? You see what I'm saying? So they all eat different things, but the problem is with the chromosomal deletions that's happening with your species as the nucleus is being removed out of y'all cells, y'all are becoming more erratic because the sun is backing y'all up to a wall. So y'all are not going to have luxury to eat anything on this planet like how you did because grocery stores are being taken out of the planetary environment. So y'all are going to resort back to the same thing y'all did in the dark ages, the same thing y'all did when y'all was Denisovans, when y'all was Neanderthals, and that was cannibalism. This is why cannibalism is actually legal on this planet. You see what I'm saying? Y'all naturally send meat parts of human remains all over across the whole globe and eat them. You see what I'm saying? Your fast food, your grocery stores, these are all host for human remains. So y'all are going to resort back to eating each other. So that's why like so-called black people is actually the least we're actually the least of your worries because you should be worrying about how your chromosomes are deleting and how you guys are going back to the dark ages and eating each other again. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, what about black people? Or what if they eat meat? How does it affect them as well? Does it affect them the same way it affects Asians and Europeans?
No, that was like the first thing I answered to you is that so-called black people, my people, prokaryotic species. You see what I'm saying? We are actually an autotroph species. We actually generate our own food. You see what I'm saying? When the sunlight hits our cells, we actually undergo ultra fast internal conversion, where we actually dispense the photonic energy from the sun and wavelength from the sun to all of our cells, and we're able to store it, you see what I'm saying, in melanin granules in our cells to turn the ions from negative to positive to now have different magnetic moments in movement or in just energy alone. And this is how we are always able to regenerate energy and be immortal.
He's asking how does the meat or people
Yeah,
that eat the meat, it adds antigens to the red blood cells. There's antigens that have been
yeah,
adding through several years of grape and us also eating the food. So when we continuously eat the meat, like the brother said in the chat, yes, it's gonna create antigens, diabetes, chronic inflammation, clogged arteries, clogged meridians, autopsis, Alzheimer's, all these different things because there's not enough light passing through the body.
yeah,
Specifically, the blood is how information gets transported throughout the body. So if it's tainted, if there's a foreign substance or a foreign entity triggering the immune response in the body, that's what is like one of the causative reasons why disease is triggered by the diet that we're eating, the aquaminated water, the purified, the filtered water, the stuff that we bathe in, the stuff that's coming out of the sinks, the nanotech that's in the air, the nanotech that's in the snacks. You see what I'm saying? These foods that say bioengineered foods, that's nanotech.
yeah.
That's
So
bio means life engineered. Life has been engineered to have meshed with food, and this is how they can literally study you from the inside out with something known as molecular gastronomy. It's not just the manipulation of nutrition facts and the manipulation of cosmetics and food. It's also how they need to know how to manipulate it. Like he talked about the osmolality, I can't really say that word,
Oh, you got it,
levels
baby.
in the stomach. They need to know how to engineer that based off of the, you know what I'm saying, the gastronomy,
Yeah.
which
So.
means stomach astronomy, by the way, which the stomach astronomy is also mimicked by the brain neurons, and the brain is connected to the stomach by the vagus nerve. So they know that if they can infiltrate the stomach, they can easily infiltrate the mind because of the way that the nervous system is set up.
Yeah. So I really hope those answered your questions about what you.
You tried actually, yeah, but I'm black. I'm not Asian. I'm just trying to learn, please. Okay, don't misunderstand me. Yeah, and I have one more question. Okay, about the sunlight and its effects on our melanin. You said something about us maybe staying under the sun and then how it regenerates our body and all that. Yeah, so I do feel that sometimes, for example, in the morning, okay, if I go out and stay under the sun, just drinking maybe a cup of water and staying under the sun, I feel so refreshed and feel so energized. And then, do you know do you by any means know the science behind that?
I would. There's other people on the panel that haven't spoken yet, so I would just. I would just tell you. I would.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, like I have no problem. Like we just. I'm just saying is just that the questions that you're asking me can be easily answered if you actually study how neuromelanin interacts with photons. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
You will understand that if you actually saw how if you actually research how prokaryotes that's coated in light undergo black body radiation.
And
You
there's
see what I'm saying?
a book. It's pinned on my page. Why Darkness Matters is written by 4 BOK neuroscientists, and they break that down, starting with embryogenesis. So that's a great book. It just 5 pages of that book is gonna be like, whoa, I gotta take a break because it's jam packed with a lot of information. Every claim that they throw out there is backed up in parentheses by a source. So you see what I'm saying? Another book that we would reference just for things that we've talked about throughout this live, Children of the Matrix. After every chapter, there's a list of sources. You see what I'm saying? It talks about these other species and how they were created as well. Yeah, let's
And
see.
I wanted to say one more thing before we move on to the next guest. Like our DNA is hydrocarbon. So look up how hydrocarbon crystalline structures interact with light, interact with sound, and interact with matter. I suggest all of our people should just look that up. We are not, if you look up how black people interact with it, they're not going to tell you. But if you look up the elemental atoms that we're created of and look up how they interact with the sun, that will let you know more information. So I appreciate you coming up. Who else is next? Go ahead, Kamikaze. Tell us your
Yes, my brother. Yes. Yes. Thanks for having me, man. So first, um, they didn't lie because they admit that it's a theory, right? When they say it's a theory, they admit to us that they don't know what's going on. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I do agree that it's a lie because again, that what they're trying to explain in evolution theory has not been taking place in a cycle or a rhythmic system in nature. So I just want to know what you think about the evolution theory, and if you're saying
Yeah.
that it's a lie because of it's a theory, I want to hear your thoughts on that because we need to all know how to articulate that. So go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, man. So for me, my mind tells me nobody was there to see how it all started, right? So it's all BS. Nobody was there to see that that we share a common ancestor, that we used to be monkeys. Come on now. Nobody knows. This was, what's his name? Charles Darwin. This guy woke up one day and he decided, like, yeah, you know what? All humans came out of Africa and we came from monkeys. And everybody believes this man. So nah. We can't buy this, man.
So where do we
We
come
can't
from?
buy this nonsense.
So where do we come from, brother?
To be honest, I'm gonna be honest with. I don't have all the answers, but I know one thing, that we are the impossible. That's what I know for sure. We are the impossible, man. That's what I know for sure. But where we actually come from, I got a few downloads, right? But they might be bogus. But something told me, like, you came from the stars, man. You know, I don't have evidence. I don't have the evidence. This is
That's
my
actually
soul
the
talking.
no. That's
You
actually
know,
the answer. The neuromelanin is the literal answer for that because that's the soul. That's what helps bring the morphogenetic field into the physical. That's what actually creates the DNA.
Yep. And when neuromelanin, because it descends down to the earth, when it's in space, it's called stardust. As soon as it enters different levels of the atmosphere, all the way down to the biosphere, it has a new name now called neuromelanin. You see what I'm saying? Because in the biosphere is where biological life is formed naturally through the 432 resonance. So I would suggest again, my brother, research, man. Research about morphogenetic fields. You see what I'm saying? I have a book called Morphic Resonance, which is the formative causation of how natural biological organisms formed. I would suggest you get that book. I would suggest you just get different for dummies books like Genetics for Dummies, Biology for Dummies, Anatomy and Physiology for Dummies. You see what I'm saying? Neurology for Dummies. And they're just saying for dummies because they're explaining these scientific terms in the layman's
in a
terminology.
simple way. Yeah, yeah.
It's just
But
in a simple way.
yeah,
So
It's morphic resonance
let
for
me add
you.
one more. Let me add one more thing. Yeah. So
for children.
when you look at the sun is the life bringer and also the destroyer. Without the sun, existence doesn't mean anything because you're in total darkness, right? So the sun is everything. The sun is everything. When you're in total darkness, existence has no purpose. I don't know how to explain it, man, but it's like when you're born blind and deaf, right? Existence doesn't make any sense. So the sun is the life bringer and the destroyer because when it gets too hot, we can't handle it. You know, we can't handle it when it gets too hot. Well,
Nah,
well
that's nah, that's
we
false.
can, we can. We no,
Yeah,
but what I mean is when you're actually on the surface of the sun. You know,
yeah, we can
but
do that too.
yeah.
It's just that you're not at the
Ooh,
level of consciousness to do that.
uh,
One of our cells is able to go all the way up to 27 million degrees. The suit that you're walking in, that your mother gave you, you see what I'm saying, is able to walk through the sun and come out of it. This is why when you see different um, solar uh, uh, solar labs that are detecting beings coming out of the sun, that's us. Those orbs of light that you see in the star and in the sky, that's different colors, that is moving, and it looks like it's moving free willingly. That's us, how we look like without these bodies. That this body is encasing that light, and that's what our people need to understand. We are the sun walking literally in the flesh. We're not joking
oh
around.
man, yo. So I made a prompt just 2 weeks ago where I say that we are pure energy in a suit made out of flesh. I can even show you the prompt if you want. But yeah, man, I understand what you mean, brother. Plus, again, I don't have all the answers, but I'm listening to you, man. Getting some updates.
Okay, I
Getting some
appreciate you.
updates, brother.
Okay, abundance for that. I appreciate you and I value your energy, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
value you, man. And we can wake up, man. We can do this, man. You know what I'm saying? Self doubt is the biggest thing that our people is dealing with. Learn about the masculine role on this planet. We are the protectors and the enforcers of this planet. You see what I'm saying? The universal laws, all masculines right now need to be enforcing those universal laws. See what I'm saying? The fact that our woman can perform parthenogenesis, we need to bring that truth into light. That is her natural self. You see what I'm saying? So we need to start protecting our children. If we see something happening down the street, don't pull out your phone and start recording and be like, oh shit, oh shit. Go in there and step in there and like the genetic protector of the species that you are. You know what I'm saying? When you see our women get abused, don't pull out your phone. Don't look away. You see what I'm saying? Speak up. You see what I'm saying? Like when you see other brothers and sisters say, "I love you, man. I value you, man." There's like, you see what I'm saying? We don't tell each other that enough. We don't tell each other that enough. So I value you and I appreciate you. I would suggest you just go keep studying, man. And
Facts, facts,
next time I see you, you better be in the higher consciousness of intellect.
facts,
That's how we
facts,
sharpen
facts.
each other. So I appreciate you. We're gonna move on to the next guest. All right.
Yeah, man. Thanks,
Go
brother. Peace, peace, peace.
abundance, abundance. All right, go ahead, Star, and it's on you now, and then we'll circle down the panel again. Go ahead and tell me again how he did.
Yeah, go ahead. Star, did you have anything to add?
Oh, okay. What you had? What you want to add, yo?
Starman, did you have anything you wanted to add?
All
We
right.
can't hear you, bro.
Hey, hello.
All right.
Oh,
What happened?
oh.
Hello.
Press back up, Star. My bad. Let me see if I can send you it. There you
No,
go.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yo, I
All
was
right.
gonna say,
After that is one unk, and then we'll go back to King. Hold on, King. 1 second,
alright.
man. Abundance to you, brother. Go ahead. One unk, and did you have anything else to add? Like after hearing different conversations, like what are you thinking?
I'm just really in the process. Like I'm learning more. Like I got so much shit in my notes right now. But I wanted to like I got a topic I want to talk about. But before I get into, I wanted to ask you, what is that cell in our body that can withstand up to 27 million degrees Fahrenheit?
It's called prokaryotic cells.
Oh,
Prokaryotic, yeah.
wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Y'all been saying that the whole time. My fault.
yeah, yeah, you good, brother. You good. All of our cells, because again, like my baby, she be saying in other lives too, like prokaryotes are not all coated in the same melanin. You see what I'm saying? And different melanins react to the sunlight differently. So the prokaryotes that's in specifically in our bodies that are coated in neuromelanin, they're able to take over 27 million degrees of solar radiation. You see what I'm saying? And uh what's it called? I had something else, but I'm gonna touch back on that. Did you want to say something to that? But
No, I didn't want to say nothing to that. That's just my topic. I wanted to throw that in my notes, but I wanted to get on the topic of like reproducing with not even reproducing, but the sexual act of mating with white people or people that aren't of our species. And I have a theory about like getting into that, like how white people, some of them composed of the rhesus monkey, and they have a blood cell called Rh positive. And when black people sleep with white people, they don't contract that blood cell, but the Rh negative that is in our body starts to fight with it. But this is a theory. So I heard that if you like mate with them like enough times, that white blood cell can invade the Rh negative and turn it Rh positive, and it can start to kill your body from like the inside out or like destroy it. And I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
abundance for sharing your frequency. But next time when you start to speak, know that we're on a TikTok platform. So like the K word and the S word, we gotta say smexual and unaliving, my brother. But I appreciate you sharing your frequency on that. And that is true. Like when we mix blood with these people, they're giving us antigens. You see what I'm saying? And when our DNA goes in their blood, it's actually harming them as well. It's actually increasing, you see what I'm saying, the chromosomal deletions within them as well. But we shouldn't be procreating with them at all because we have two different genetic structures and within ourselves that make up our whole entire anatomy. So the antigens that they leave within our cells are different animal proteins. Before they could get into our body, before they get into our blood, they're animal proteins that has been made inside of them. As soon as it enters our blood, it gets translated immediately to an antigen because it's in a foreign environment and it's harming the environment's growth and development. It's harming the womb. It's harming the brain. You see what I'm saying? So toxoplasma gondii within a white man's body is actually helping his body run. But toxoplasma gondii in your body is a parasite and it's actually unaliving you. You see what I'm saying? So that, like, it's just like asking, should cheetahs be procreating with bears? You see what I'm saying? We need to understand that the genetic structure, your DNA, is the answer of who you should be reproducing with, what time you should be reproducing with, and how you should be using your reproductive fluids to create the child in the highest frequency.
I understand what you're saying. I understand that.
Abundance for that, my brother.
But
Abundance.
that's all I have to ask. Other than that, I had a good time learning and taking information, sharing my frequency with y'all, and I'm gonna be on here next time with higher vibration, higher consciousness, and hopefully I can teach y'all something. But y'all have a great day. Ashe.
Exactly, my brother. That's how we do it. Each one reach one, my brother. So I'm saying, I love to hear that. Abundance for that. I value you. So go ahead, King. I think you're next. And we'll just keep this running until everybody gets to say what they want to say. Then we'll have a last round and ask, does anybody else want to come up and share their frequency? And after that, we'll wrap this up. All right, y'all. So I'm saying, we're just trying to wake the consciousness up. This is an awareness purpose live. This has nothing to do with racism. This has nothing to do with race. This is genetics. So go ahead, King, and tell us what you're holding on.
I would say talking about history and genetics, it's always gonna lead to the other race feeling like it's racism, but it's not. It's just truth. You know what I'm saying? But I would say high vibrational culture is ancient and original. We are adapting to the opposite slowly, if we think about it, and and we're struggling to adapt to it, but we are.
The
Hello?
sun is correcting that, though. The sun in the universe is correcting that because patriarchy is being dismantled. And I
Yes, that
always
is
talk
true.
about how patriarchy is actually falling, so she's pushing us back to our matriarchs. That's why, or matriarchy. That's why I was live like a day or two ago, and I was talking to the sisters. Like, we're the ones that have to wake up and actually give a fuck about who we are first. We're the
Yep.
ones who have to be upset enough about it first, so that way that our men can enforce. That's what he just said. The divine masculine enforces the feminine energy. It enforces universal law. So when we set the law down and we embody that, our men have no choice but to enforce it. The ones that want to still push patriarchy will fall with patriarchy. They're going to have to recycle, and the people that are here are going to have to teach them. They're going to have to remember again. Either way it go, we're never coming back to patriarchy because that test has been had. By the time our people recycle, we won't be tested this same way. We'll be undergoing another test, right? So that's the thing that we have to understand. Like for instance, some of the sisters that talk about matriarchy, that are getting a hold to these lives about genetics, they come in here and they see it, they're like, what the fuck, why did the sister share this with me? Because we're talking about your genetics, right? So I actually keep seeing some of the sisters come in and out. They like, why y'all sharing this shit with me? Because it's about genetics. It's about how we anciently performed parthenogenesis and how that is being returned and restored in our DNA, right? It's talking about the divine feminine on an atomic level, how she is the electron in and out of reality. This is how we create. So is I know that genetics is a very logical perspective, but we need balance between the logic and our intuition. Having that balance is the structure that we're lacking, right? And we need more discipline behind that. So we hold our people accountable, just like I told the sister in the chat. You're saying that she doesn't have a soul, and you're right, but can you articulate it? Because if you can't, then you don't need to say it. Because why are we saying these things to them and we can't even tell them? And this is a species that is below us genetically. So they can articulate some things about the sun, some things about their DNA. As you can see, the YT people that come in here, they can low key hang with the fucking discussion. You see what I'm saying? Our people, what y'all talking about? You see, we don't have knowledge of self, but everybody is saying they nine ether, right? Everybody's a nine ether being, but nobody can explain how. That's a problem for the next generation, y'all. You see what I'm saying? And the children, a lot of the time, they be. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's crazy because naturally, like white folks, they're comfortable with low vibrational things and they don't realize it. And you know, we're so old of a race that like it's taking a lot upon us to adapt to the low vibrational culture, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's not
even
about
look,
culture.
even
Not
you got to
about
think
culture
too.
or
You got to
race.
think too.
It's
Like
about genetics and how your genes and your DNA is
the
being.
further back you go into history, the higher the frequency. So of
The
course we're
further we
way
go
more
back
than
on the planet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me tell you something, brother. Just like I've been telling all the brothers, go study your DNA, go study prokaryotic cells, because when you study that, you will learn that you are past, present, and future. You see what I'm saying? What you're saying that happened before high frequency, our people are still in high frequency. It's just us right now, this group right here on planet Earth is not. We have more of us that exist and that are existing in higher frequency because they're choosing that. So what are you choosing every day, my brother?
Facts,
When you
brother.
wake up, what do you choose every day? What are your daily habits?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Do you think to yourself, hey, this action that I'm about to do, does this align with the life that I'm trying to create? Does this align with the civilization that I'm going to be a part in? Is this the type of questions that you're having? You see what I'm saying? This is what we need to be doing, my brother. I promise you. Just go study your DNA. Everything that you're saying, you see what I'm saying? It looks like your soul is like your wisdom is flickering on and off. You know what I'm saying? You really want to know the truth. So I would suggest go know thyself, my brother. You got it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Because our people, I understand where our people is coming from with the culture and the race. Look, that's skin deep and surface level. You are not your race, you are your biology. If Elon Musk is considered African American, then who the fuck is who? Y'all hear me say that all the time. Who the fuck is who, right? So again, it's not about race. They want you to think about it about skin color because skin color thinking about look, they program you in school to think about colors a certain way and then they program you mentally with race about skin color. It's a program that we have to shed so we can see the bigger picture here. You're made up of cells, and the way you behave is a part of phenotype and physical expression. If we don't physically express our genes the same, then, I mean, if we don't physically express our behavior the same, how are we composed of the same DNA? That's what it's about. That's the thing that they don't want us to know because we're all one so-called human race until it becomes about genetics.
Exactly.
So move away from culture because culture is how they cultivated you. That's the programming. You see what I'm saying? Race is the culture. Culture is how they cultivated you to think about yourself, them, and everything in between.
Yeah.
That has to go. That's patriarchal, but you come from your mother. What's matriarchal is your DNA. That's what we've been talking about. Our women created the man through parthenogenesis. This is why religion talks about Genesis or a woman or a virgin giving birth to a son. Where would they have gotten that from? Who did they see modeled in? Like you said, we were the first ones here, so they had to have seen it in us. We just have to be able to structure that with science because these are real terms. When you sitting and watching cartoons and they say something like gastrospectrometer, go look that shit up because that's probably, there's more from where that came from, right? When y'all were watching Stranger Things, that's a whole documentary. You can actually go study everything. The people, the time period that it happened. The Montauk Project is real.
Yeah.
And actually, in the Montauk documentary, the scientists in there say these people had to have help. There's no way that they could have done it on their own. And that's I have that clip recorded on my phone in case they try to take that shit down. Because it was already tricky with the whole thing with the documentary on YouTube anyway. You know what I'm saying? They didn't let us cast it to the screen. I mean, to the outside of the phone. Anytime when YouTube don't let you cast that, that's the one you need to record because that means that they're heavily keeping that, making sure that it don't get too many views. Right? So we got to go deeper as a people. That's what we got to
Exactly.
do. That's the number one thing we got to do.
Why would the people who are not even 100% of anything, you see what I'm saying, percentages of animals, have you, my brothers and sisters, focus on percentages of land masses? You see what I'm saying? Continents, regions, you see what I'm saying, borders. Why would they have you focused on these things?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to keep you in a box. They're trying to dim your light. They're trying to close your consciousness off from connecting to life, from connecting to cosmic life. See what I'm saying? Because then you would understand life right then and there. It's the universe don't make it hard for her to understand her. You see what I'm saying? She don't. It's very easy to understand the universe. The information that these scientists are talking about with these big scientific words, they're just talking about atoms, molecules, crystals, cells, tissues, organs, and organ systems, and the anatomy. That's all they're talking about.
The words have simple meanings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can do it. You see what I'm saying? We can read for an hour a day and see how that changes us throughout the week. We can really do like social experiments within ourselves. See what I'm saying? Different ways to keep elevating through progressive challenges and obstacles. We can keep elevating mentally to become who we need to be. See what I'm saying? So I really appreciate everybody coming in.
Star, did you
if
ever
you had
get
any
to talk?
if you had anything to say, you can add. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, since it sounds like you're about to close, I'll probably turn up in more of your lives to come because I have a lot of questions. I've been listening to you, well, as you've been breaking down your theory, and there's loads of things I just don't agree with, and I have a lot of questions. I think you misunderstand haploid and diploid cells.
Diploid?
Sorry?
Diploid?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
the
what they're
two.
called?
Sorry?
Is that what they're called?
Di the name. Sorry, my brain's a bit frazzled right now. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Go ahead.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think you guys kind of, because, the reproductive organs, that's, you actually have those producing prokaryotic cells. And then the whole of the body itself is full of eukaryotic cells. And the question you guys were asking earlier about how, two prokaryotic cells came together to make a eukaryotic cell. I mean, even just the process of how the sperm fertilizes the egg is a very similar process. But I mean, like I said, I have a lot of questions. You guys, I heard you talking about ghost DNA, and again, I think there's some misunderstanding there. And then I'd like to hear your explanation of, like, when you say animal DNA in white people. I'd like to hear your explanation of that. Now, I know I said that humans and animals share DNA. But then when you guys talk about it, you talk about splicing. So, I like that to be clear. And then another question, one of the questions I had, but someone asked, is well, listening to you say white people are largely white people are largely eukaryotic cells, and or black people are largely prokaryotic cells, and that somehow these are two different cell types. So my question was going to be for you to explain how exactly the two are able to procreate. How when their different cell types finally meet, how they're able to finally, or something is able to be generated out of that. And it's also, yeah, I've been hearing people pushing around this 9 ether being 9 ether. What exactly is an ether being? Because apparently there's 9 ether being, there's 7 ether being, there's 6. Please, I need someone to explain to me what is an ether being. And you talked about how we generate our own food. How? And from what you were talking about, sunlight, it sounds like some sort of photosynthesis. Like, so are you saying that black people literally don't need to eat? You
Okay.
know,
Are you? I'm just letting you get all your questions out. I'm going to respond to you. We're gonna handle this right here. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to leave with these questions. We're gonna handle these right here.
okay.
Go ahead and keep going.
Okay, so yeah, you talk about us being higher frequency beings. Can you
Right.
please explain that better to me? Like, and what can we do with this frequency? Is it like some sort of, I don't know, superpower? And how can we manifest it? You that you know about it, can you manifest it? Can you show me how you manifest it and how to manifest it?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for now, yeah, those are some of the
Okay.
questions.
So the first thing that
And also, yeah, you said humans are the only animals that have neuromelanin.
I didn't say that at all. So I know you had. This is why, like every
Okay,
question
you
that
said man. Man is the only living thing that has neuromelanin.
no, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My bad on that one.
Again, everything that you said has been answered the whole time you've been on mute. The whole live. So if you want to go listen to the live, you can answer how it's been answered. But I'll give you brief synopsis on what I was talking about. The first thing that you said was that about the sperm going in the egg. Again, what species is that sperm coming from, and what egg is being sparked? You didn't tell me. You're just talking like these two organisms are part of the same species. But again, my phenotype is completely different than a white man. So that means that our DNA is functioning differently because of our phenotype, our physical characteristics. And your physical characteristics directly comes from your genotype, which is your DNA, your elemental atoms that create your DNA that create your DNA. So how is it that I am the same species as this organism, but they can never, when they produce children, they can never produce us. And when we produce children, we don't produce them. Because even when we produce albinos, there's the skin texture of their integumentary system is completely different than theirs. You see what I'm saying? Their hair still grows towards the sun. They still have a wide nose to absorb the magnetic energy of the particles around them to have extrasensory perception. So I explained how so-called black people are different than everybody outside of us countless times on this live with you being in here. We have neuromelanin. All so-called black people have neuromelanin. We are condensed sunlight, which means a liquid version of the sun. You see what I'm saying? A solid and a liquid version of the sun. That's what we are. The sun exists in a different state of matter, which is why it looks different than us. But we have the same functionality as the sun because our DNA has hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. You see what I'm saying? This is what we're composed of. Everybody outside of so-called black people, the synthetic chemicals, the calcium ionophores that they're created from, are made from what? Sulfur dioxide, nitric oxide, and ammonia. And these specific chemicals and gases are created in labs because they create in vitro synthetic eumelanin, in vitro synthetic pheomelanin, and in vitro synthetic neuromelanin. All of these different melanins are lab made. In vitro means lab made. So they have a lab made melanin and it's genetically proven of eukaryotes that they specifically the humans that we see today, they're only 7,000 years old. We see them on all fours in with hypertrichosis and cutaneous horns, the same genetic mutations that they have in today. We see them on leashes with reptilians holding them on leashes and walking them on all fours. We see eagle-like species with wings holding them on all fours. But what do we also see these reptilians do? We see them holding pine cones of the prokaryotic organic species of the planet, meaning that they took your knowledge on life, on the organic different types of melanin, and they created a synthetic version to now take over your you. So they told us the truth, but we're so infatuated with titles the money, the clock, the calendar, the financial system, and this system itself, that we don't see that the truth is the planet itself, is our DNA. We are the source that we've been looking for. And the way to understand and structure what you're seeing is by going to read everything I've been talking about, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that all of my genetics, all of my cells are not doing different functions in the body. You see what I'm saying? But again, my liver, my heart, my foot cell, although they're doing different functions in the body, they all got those instructions from the same totipotent stem cell inside of our mothers, which is what? Encased in light, which is what? Neuromelanin, which is what? An immortal gene. So this is what our mother passes down to us. She passed down stardust. The same way a star is born in space through molecular clouds is the same way that a neuromelanated woman has birth down here. The same way. It's this, the Big Bang is the same thing as a zinc spark inside of our woman. It happens all the time. So I've already told you this. So I hope that answers what you've been saying, because again, you haven't told me how a prokaryote changed into a eukaryote. You've never you and everybody else on the panel that disagreed with what we were saying never told us how we went from that, and how it's happening in nature. You try to say another prokaryote engulfed another prokaryote, but you're not telling me how the genetic information within those prokaryotes changed for them to now do a different function. You're not telling me that, which means that you don't really know what you're talking about. You're asking me all of these questions because, again, you're curious. You don't really know what you're talking about. And you're asking me because you see that I know what I'm talking about. So instead of trying to act like I don't know what I'm talking about by trying to question me like that, I would say that you should go research. You should go understand, because you're just saying sperm and egg, and then not saying the species that it belongs to. That's not somebody who's really knows the scientific like processes and methods that happens in biogenesis. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, like, again, I'm gonna just leave you with that you should go research more. There's more for you to see.
And to answer the last question that you had about how do we, when you were talking about photosynthesis, is it some type of photosynthesis? Yes, it's called biosynthesis.
Yes.
If you look at the ends of our hair, you can see the Fibonacci sequence, which look like proton paths, which are able to take in energy from the sun and convert it into chemical energy for the body. That is called black body radiation, by the way.
That's how we are autotroph species.
So hold on. Plants also undergo biosynthesis. They just call it photosynthesis because it's a plant. Plants also they are prokaryotic and some are eukaryotic. How they actually do that depends on the cells that they originate from, the totipotent stem cell that they come from, right? But in the same breath, they are also black body radiators. And this is what I was explaining to the chat the other day. Hibiscus plants need 4 to 5 hours of sunlight, but I can literally take in more sunlight than that. I can literally be outside from sun up to literal sundown, and we do it all the time. So I can take the full spectrum of UVC radiation, whether it's ground level or not, but a plant can't. That's why it only needs 8 to 10 hours, 6 to 8 hours, 4 to 5 hours, because even though they are black body radiators, they have a different type of melanin, which allows them to interact differently with the light. They have allomelanin versus neuromelanin. These, again, and that's what he explained, these other people have vitrosynthetic, which means that they can only interact in small instances with light. And those instances, those occurrences actually deteriorate the cells. And he already explained photocarcinogenesis, the chromosomal deletion, the global heat crisis. The scientists were calling it El Nino, and just in a 2-week span, now they're calling it a super El Nino. So I just wanted to answer that last question because, you know what I'm saying, he clocked everything else.
Yeah, so we're naturally breatharians.
Breatharian. So
yeah.
what? Are you saying black people can survive on just sunlight and air?
Yeah. What do you think air is composed of? What do you think you're breathing in?
Carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, primarily.
Yes, you're breathing in carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. But again, the ozone layer is being removed. So more interstellar gases are coming into the planet. So more hydrogen, more helium, more oxygen, nitrogen, and helium is coming into the planet. And now that's interacting with our electrons. When our electrons come into contact with these molecules, they actually excite the electrons within us. And that excitement creates the movement and the chemical bond within the atom. And now that atom starts to vibrate higher because light comes from electrons. So when that atom starts to vibrate higher and starts to vibrate different, now the molecule has no other choice but to do the same and start vibrating higher. So the cell or the crystalline structure has to start vibrating higher. So now the tissue has to start vibrating higher. Now the organs and then the organ system and then the organism has to start vibrating higher, which means that they're with that vibratory state that's happening within all levels of organization of life within that organism. Now they're going to look completely different. You see what I'm saying? We're being biologically changed under the sun to go back to our most simplest and natural state, and that's to be breatharians. When we breathe, we're breathing in photons. You see what I'm saying? And that feeds all of our cells through ultra fast internal conversion. The photons,
Photons.
yeah, photons. We feed off photons. So again, photons when they gets inside of the body, it actually gets dispersed evenly, 99.9% evenly throughout the entire body within every cell. You see what I'm saying? And these cells have batteries within the of neuromelanin, and these neuromelanin granules gets charged up and excited to now charge up and regenerate the cell. This is why every 7 years we make a complete new version of ourselves.
Yeah.
Whoa, bro. I mean, I know when we breathe, air goes to the lungs, and from the lungs, they get into the blood and to the brain. I've never heard of air being somehow converted to food, and I've never heard of humans breathing in photons.
Because
Considering,
your humans pertain to people with animal DNA. Humans is not talking about hydrocarbonated crystalline suits that are walking under the sun with this
oh,
mixed
okay,
or hybrid, which we call a
okay,
human.
or
So,
black people. Oh,
we
okay,
look.
so
That's the problem. We don't look. You're not looking at this from a actual genetic and biological point of view. You're still viewing it through titles
Yeah,
that
skin
anybody
color.
that it's like a skin color that anybody can fall under. You're not telling me about no melanins. You're not telling me about how the eukaryotic cell is actually coming about in nature. You're not telling me about that. The
okay,
only the only
can I ask
scientific the
can
only
I ask
scientific
this?
explanation is synthetic biology. But go ahead.
So do you have are these your theories, or you have, I don't know, some sort of teacher or something, or these are your theories?
So again, every theory that we named is a theory that is checking out in nature. You don't need a teacher for that. When you study plants and their composition, that's why I explained it, black body radiation, the way that I did to you. You have to actually study, like you said, the biology of things. And this is where the terms come in. We got these terms from studying genetics, from studying biology, when we looked into genetic engineering, that's actually how we found out about synthetic biology. When we looked into synthetic biology, that's how we found out about somatic parthenogenesis. When we looked into somatic parthenogenesis, that's actually what led us to sonication, cell sonication, everything else. So again, these are not made up theories. These are real things that are studied under everything that we're talking about.
And they're
But
occurring under the universe every day, every moment in the eternal now.
But I just wanted
Okay,
to address, hold on, Starman, give me a second. I wanted to address something that King is saying because this is actually why I added him on the panel because people will say that they agree with us and then try to push their narrative with what we're not saying. So that's why I added him on the thing because he's saying everything adapts, evolves, or changes. It's just the route of change is uncomprehendable. So you're another one. I'm gonna keep it above, like respectively, we've explained how things come into existence, and you're saying that it's it's uncomprehendable. It's not. We can comprehend it and see it. Like, you
We
see what
can
I'm saying?
articulate it and communicate about it.
Everything does not evolve the same. That's like, y'all, that's why I'm saying that's why baby said we need a base understanding. We're
Yeah.
saying that biogenesis is different than spontaneous generation. So you're saying evolve, but how? Because one is not evolution, one is being manually done. One is not evolution like how they're telling you in a textbook. One is abiogenesis or biogenesis. That's not evolution. That's conscious expansion.
Yep.
That's not, we came from here and then from this thing we create. That's not the same thing when genetic engineering is playing out. So
Exactly.
I'm gonna come clean. I don't really like how we sit here for 3 hours and we lay it down and then people still try to push their narrative. I don't like shit like that.
Exactly. If you can't intellectually debunk what we're saying, then how can you still spew the lies out your mouth after you y'all just told me that you do care about the information that goes into children's minds? You see what I'm saying? Because like, what was you just saying, baby? I wanted to add something to
Yeah,
that.
we like when people say that they agree with us, but then they don't, and they still try to push that narrative. At the end of the day, you came in here and we said that's not how I go, and then we gave you all the sources, and then on the back end they're
Okay.
trying to say like, oh yeah, that's why I said that's not what you were saying, and that's actually
Exactly.
not true.
So yeah, like genetic splicing has been taking place on this planet for 400,000 to 600,000 years. Genetic splicing has been taking place.
Wow.
Humans are not the first people to undergo synthetic biology. Your high earning doctors, you see what I mean, your politicians, your governors, you see what I'm saying? All of these people are not white and Asian people and Arab people like you think. Those are just suits that reptilians are bending light. And with them bending light, they're using extremely low frequencies to bend light so low, then they plug themselves into this organism metaphysically with their energy and now can operate that suit. That's what Elon Musk is. You see what I'm saying? That's what Donald Trump, all of these people, all these high placed people are reptilians to program the species that they created. You see what I'm saying? These are the same people who ran Rome. These are the same reptilians who ran Greece. These are the same reptilians who ran all of these different civilizations, deceiving us. So when y'all coming with these talking points, you don't even know where this coming from, because to talk about it, you will have to acknowledge these reptilians exist. You see what I'm saying? But you don't even know about genetics and biology that you would say, oh, it's out of my comprehension, because you didn't learn it as a grown being. If you don't know something, you go learn it. Like, I don't understand. If you want to connect with something, you go learn it. You see what I'm
So,
saying? There's no
so
excuses.
can I say this? I'm actually an engineer, and my late older brother was a genetic scientist. So yes.
What kind?
What is that? What is the name?
He was a geneticist, so he was deep in all this stuff.
Okay.
So my question is, since you okay, so this is the first time I'm hearing a lot of your narratives and theories. I've never seen them anywhere, not on the internet, not on any books. So I'm asking if you guys have your theories or narratives compiled up, and what efforts you've made to debunk the international consensus. Have you presented your narrative? Because TikTok is not the place to even present these narratives. You can present these narratives all for 20 years and people will still be trying to debunk you. If you really want your narrative to or your theories to have an impact, you have to write a presentation of the whole theory and narrative, present it
Okay.
against the international consensus and overthrow them.
Really?
Then yes.
So why didn't you do that when we asked you how did we go from haploids to diploids? Why didn't you do that?
Ooh, I didn't know you were gonna say that.
That's all I want to know. Why
And then
didn't you do that?
what I was gonna say is
But I actually spoke on that. I actually
we
spoke.
already have. That's what we keep telling you. We have books. No, I told you there's 4 BLK neuroscientists with the information that's out. Do I gotta go grab? Let me see if we grab the book and if we can.
What are the books called? And I actually spoke about how
You see that in the screen right here? This book right here. This is written by us. All these authors right here.
why
These are our people. So you're saying
sorry,
have we?
can I see?
Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, chill. I'm
Yep.
just trying to speak to you because you were, So the thing is that our people have been had this information. Matter of fact, the first few pages of this book talks about Imhotep and how he knew about the cerebral viruses and how that information was shared globally and that he wasn't the only one that had it. So
Yeah.
we've been had this information. The first documented multi-genius was who? Us. And we were the top scientists in the world. We were already the ones that were on these people's necks in the 1800s about Darwinism. You can read about our people that were in scientific spaces debunking this shit. They just don't tell you. Our people is out there. Who is
Yeah.
it? The so-called brother that was so-called Hebrew. I think it was. There's a neuromelanated brother.
Haitian. Yeah.
Yeah, or Haitian.
Yeah, it was a Haitian brother.
Yeah,
Yep. In the
I think
17th.
it's two of them though.
Yeah.
It was two of them. It wasn't just a brother in Haiti. It was a brother somewhere else, Scottish Isles, somewhere in Europe, perhaps. That's why I said what I said. But yeah, we've been had this information. That's how we got to it. We don't listen to YT scientists unless it's structuring what our people already know and what nature is already expressing.
Exactly.
I don't. Yeah.
What's the name of this book?
And the thing is like, have we presented a consensus? Why would we need to present a consensus to the people? They're scared to come near us unless we're in a low ass consciousness like the Jay-Z's, the P. Diddy's of the world. You have to be that low to be next to them. Why would we do that? Why would we shrink our consciousness to even ask these, to try to prove to these people when we're telling you who they
To
are?
tell the world the truth. If they've been lying to everybody with their
That's
narratives
why I said
and
the
their
truth is already
theories,
out. But why would we do it when we already have a base understanding of who they are?
Exactly, and we are telling the world the truth. When we're speaking, we're speaking to the entire universe. We're speaking inside of a universe. When you're saying all of this that you're saying that we're the same as monkeys, you're saying that in a universe where organisms are hearing you in different frequencies. And that's the same way we look at people who's disabled. We look at people who's mentally challenged, and you can see it. That's the same way our star family and other extraterrestrials look at us when they see us in a society consistently poisoning ourselves and interacting with a mixed animal hybrid. That's how we're being perceived right now because we're rugged up. The reason why we're brown is because we're heavily oxidized. Our skin is heavily oxidized from heavy metals and toxins. So I'm saying when they spray in the air, they spray that lead, that mercury. When they spray the air, that falls down and that hits our skin, and that's causing a reactive oxygen species to now bond with our neuromelanin, and our neuromelanin is trying to eject that metal out because it doesn't like synthetic chemicals. But when you oversaturate the blood, especially when you're eating meat, you see what I'm saying? When you're eating pig, cow, chicken, these are the same animals that these people are spliced with, and it holds carcinogens and heavy toxins and heavy metals. So that deteriorates your body. You see what I'm saying? So there's a way we should be living. Somebody took they didn't take our land from us. They took our lifestyle, our consciousness, how we used to live. And the way you know how we used to live is by understanding, again, prokaryotic cells, because they're past, present, and future. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? So the book is called Why Darkness Matters. You see what I'm saying?
why darkness matters.
Yeah, and I have this pinned on my page as well. And there are some books that we've like read that's on our phones that we haven't posted. And I know between the two of us there's like 10, you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
What, you wrote the book?
we didn't write the book, our people did.
Yeah, the people who share the same. Go ahead, my
Dr.
baby.
N.C. Brown, Dr. Richard King, Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, and Dr. T. Owens Moore.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's several other there's hella doctors and research scientists that are put in the book. Like literally you can't turn a page without at least 5 sources being quoted.
Yep, there's a
Like
lot of references in
yeah,
there
a lot of
from
references.
different brothers and sisters who study melanin. You see what I'm saying? But again, are these brothers and sisters are just probably saying melanin, but again, you got to understand that there's different types and their functionality and how they react to the sun. So I would suggest Dr. Dilbert Blair also talks about how our DNA is connected to the sun and how it functions under the sun and what we should be doing. You see what I'm saying? Dr. Layla Africa too also talks about more of our anatomy and physiology and how our organs respond to different frequencies. You see what I'm saying? Because you were saying, how is this metaphysical energy helping me, like how am I using it? Well, the highest energy that we can create, the greatest creation of the neuromelanated species is our children. So we can create our children. You see what I'm saying? And when we instill certain types of information and programming, that's going to dictate how they grow and develop. That is the biggest task and responsibility and duty that we have. That is the best a form of technology that we've ever produced. Forget the pyramids, forget the planets. Our children. You see what I'm saying? That's the real uh, um, extension of who we are. You see what I'm saying? Directly. So that's who we need to be caring about, and know that all of our energy, when you ejaculate all of your uh, um, genetic information from your brain, from your muscles, from your veins, from your blood, from your knees. You see what I'm saying? From your foot, all goes into that sperm, that seminal fluid. So that is the highest energetic feeling that you can ever feel. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like you I don't understand what you're saying. Like what are we supposed, like you're saying like you're confused on the planet and don't know what to do. You see what I'm saying? So I thought your science was true. So if your science was true, you should be knowing how to conduct yourself under the planet. You see what I'm
I'm
saying?
not saying I'm.
But that's an incomplete story. That's an incomplete theory. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not.
Because we never went from haploids to diploids. We've never seen a chimpanzee and a pig procreate with each other and then create a human. We've never seen that. We've never seen a zebrafish procreate with a zebrafly and make a human. We've never seen that. So that's not true. What you're saying, it's not seen in nature now. Eukaryotes are not spawning out in nature now. How do you have all of these genetic material, but in nature, none of these genetic material are even existing there naturally, and they never come together at all? So that's where like the incompleteness is coming at.
All I'm saying is I have a different understanding of these things, and tonight I'm here for the first time. I'm hearing a totally different understanding. Now, I also heard you guys mention extraterrestrial. Fair enough, but then when you start talking about reptilians, I'm wondering, well, are you saying humans are already interacting with some sort of reptilian extraterrestrial? And
The
I
US
thought,
government has
sorry.
put out hella sources about that. You don't even have to ask us. That's you can go to FBI website,
Yeah.
CIA.gov, and that information is
So
on there.
do you guys believe in?
Because he up here and it's hella misinformation in the comments from
Exactly.
him.
So
So
before we move on to him, I'm gonna say one thing, and then we'll circle back to you. Don't worry, my brother. We got to go to another one. So I just wanted to say something. CBS News, Fox News, just weeks ago, a month ago, literally said they found 4 extraterrestrials from crash sites. And what did they name? They named reptilians, grays, Nordics, which are just genetically spliced organisms. Greys and these Nordics and insectoids are some of them are genetically spliced and some of them are organic. So
How about Anunnaki? How about Anunnaki?
no, don't.
nah,
They ain't no. This isn't. I ain't the question
yeah.
box. I ain't the question box, man. You see what I'm saying? You ain't give me no quarter, son. I'm playing with you, bro. But like, I'm not the question box man, bro. I'm just gonna tell you, go research. There's more to what you're seeing. You see what
You're
I'm
an
saying?
engineer, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
like what
bro,
the
when you
fuck?
don't know something, do you ask another? Like, what do you do when you don't know
It's
something?
because I'm hearing these things for the first time tonight from you
No,
guys.
you couldn't have if your brother is a geneticist. You couldn't
Oh boy,
have.
he's late now. He's late now. So I also heard you guys talk about metaphysical. So
No,
you know,
wait. Hold on,
I'm inclined to
Starman.
ask
I'm
if you
trying to
believe
get
in
to
God.
King. Starman, wait for a second. We're coming back. We're not gonna like
Starman, get back to the stars,
stars.
man.
Yeah,
The
get back to
fuck?
the stars. You just like the
Get back
sister
to
to
the
me. I want to
stars,
be in this.
man.
I want to be an Earth girl. We said we made you Earth girl. Like you are the Earth
Like,
girl. Like
damn. Like, you want to ask me? Like, I'm telling you, study more. That like the prokaryotes and eukaryotes, your intellect on that is flickering on and off. You need to act like I'm dead ass though. You need to go research that more and then come back to us so we can have
yes.
more a more flowing, fluid
It's
conversation.
gonna be
I
interesting for
promise you.
you. I promise you, the brain loves learning and it loves information and it needs it to create new synaptic plasticity. And that leads me to King. King, you off the app, man. Can I get you to come back so we can have a conversation about your comments? Because your comments are convoluted, my brother. I'm gonna keep it a buck. So
Hello.
yeah.
Abundance.
So your
Yeah, it's my comments. It may not be facts, There's some things that are just inevitable,
Yeah,
in
but
a
what
way.
you're saying is, first of all, it's not about race, and that's what I already told you, and you still keep making it about. And then on top of that, when you're talking about evolution and evolve and adapt, and we're heading towards a more active participation,
Yeah, hold on for a second. When you want to speak again, you can come
just
off
come
mute.
off.
So go ahead, baby.
But the thing is like we're heading towards the norm of low frequency normalization. That's what this whole thing has been for the last 200,000 to 400,000 years. That's been a normal thing. That's why this is the lowest frequency that our anatomy can take. You know what I'm saying? Um, there's something else. Like you said, low frequency is bad. I remember you saying that like a couple hours ago too. Like in the future, it could be useful for the time period. It could be useful for the time period.
Okay.
What when you're
Yeah, what type of frequency are you talking about? Of what? Of what? Because electrical frequencies are slow, and that's what's low frequencies. The planet is becoming more magnetic. Everything that's electrical is going to not work. Your phone, your toaster, your fridge, the stores, all those artificial light and artificial sounds is going bye. It's going to be very quiet on the planet to where you only hear nature. You see what I'm saying? So that's I don't really understand like why we're just talking about low frequencies, but we're not talking about the how it's electrical. The planet is not taking that no more, so
yeah, she's becoming more magnetic.
we're not in that electrical state no more. But I see what you're saying because our people are right now under light code lockdown through electronics. So what we need to do is again learn ourselves. So I don't know what the confusion is on the in the comments, but the main goal is that we should be learning ourselves so we can get back to our babies. That's all. That's it.
Are you religious by
That's
a
it.
chance, King Slime? Like I see you talking about high, low, and blessings, and I seen you mention God earlier. Like, are you religious by a chance?
Yeah, you can come off mute. You can talk, brother. You don't gotta.
Well, I'm at work right now, but yeah, I used to be religious, but I started going off what you know I feel is right in my heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
Right.
the planet is going towards higher. Literally,
Talk louder.
so a low frequency in any state is not going to be beneficial to her because she's a high vibing entity. That's why we talk about the atmosphere and the cosmos and interstellar gases. These are not low vibratory things.
So that means that you believe in de-evolution, backwards evolution.
That's not the evolution. That's
I
not
believe in that. I believe in adaptation, really,
the things that you believe in
and
adaptation. What you're talking about.
it's always based on the time period. You know what I'm saying?
Time doesn't exist. So this is why the conversation can't flow if people don't have knowledge of what they're talking about. So like time doesn't exist. We're living in eternal now. The past, present, and future is happening right now. Energetically, metaphysically, it's happening right now. So, but I
Yeah,
appreciate everybody
y'all.
coming in. Just please learn yourself. You see what I'm saying? Please keep going. When you think you know something, you don't. You have to keep going. There's more to what you currently see, and this isn't just. This is for everybody on this planet. This is for me. This is for my baby right here. This is for everybody watching. This is for the whole planet. That's for the organic people. You see what I'm saying? We have so much knowledge to go through that we can't make a lot of stops and think we know something, because that will cause destruction within the species. We got to go extensive with who we are, and you do that by learning the basics and the foundation first. Then you can move up the building. Okay, so I appreciate everybody's energy. I appreciate everybody coming in who was receptive. I value you. You see what I'm saying? You're an important part of this evolution, or this era that we're undergoing, because we are undergoing a biological change. You see what I'm saying? Every time you
Hey, I was gonna say my fault for saying time. You're right. Time does not exist, but more so the era. You know what I'm saying? You said the right word. That's all I gotta say.
I appreciate your frequency, my brother. I appreciate that. So yeah, just keep learning, keep striving. So I'm saying, don't let the opposite species play with you. Don't allow them in your mind, because when you only allow yourself in your mind and allow people who want to sharpen you in your mind, you start to grow, you start to bloom like a flower in late spring. Okay, so just keep going, and don't allow self doubt to poison you. So I value everybody. I appreciate you. Abundance, y'all.
Take care, bro. Look forward to see you next time with more questions. And take care,
Yeah.
sister, too.
And I see what you just said in the comments. The evolution that we're going through is through the sun hitting our cells. You see what I'm saying? That we are changing biologically, and I explained that. So
So you
keep
agree
gonna
that
stay keep
there's a process that is evolution. There's a process. There's such a process as evolution, change.
Yeah, that happens,
Okay.
but a
That's
pig.
true.
But again, hold on for a second, man. Look, this is
Like somebody that wants to ask questions, but oh, look, I got you.